We're live from Monin Park in Boston for a matchup of two of the top teams in the New England region. Salve Regina ranked 20th in the nation and tops in the New England region against the UMass Boston Beacons, ranked 4th in the New England region and winners of 8 consecutive games. Hi, everybody. With Steve Consiglio, former Beacon. I'm Bill Spalding. Glad to be with you. Well, UMass Boston played late into the night yesterday, here until about 11 o'clock to extend the win streak to 8 games with an extra inning win over Endicott College. They'll look to make it 9 straight wins and 2 in a row against the top 2 teams in the CCC, with Fernando Burgos on the mound taking on Salve Regina.
Yeah, late night for not only the Beacons but Salve Regina as well. Salve took a tough loss in 10 innings last night against...
They were playing Suffolk yesterday, up 8-7 in 10 innings last night, and they lost on an error. 2 outs, could have gotten out of the 10th inning. An error with 2 outs, put a runner on base. He came around to score. Let's look at the starting lineup for Salve Regina. They hit the ball so well, a .316 team batting average this season for Salve Regina, with 6.4 runs scored per game. Salve's lineup looks like this. The second baseman is John Militano, and Colton Aremian plays third base. Right fielder is Zach Smith. First baseman is Alex Perry. Christian Vargas is the catcher. Dylan Ketch plays left field. Sam Brito is the DH. Brody Santilli plays center field. And Hunter Sleeper is the shortstop. For the Beacons, it's Fernando Burgos, strong sophomore pitcher, making his first start in a couple of weeks, coming back from a lower body injury he suffered in his last start, the last loss for the Beacons against the University of Southern Maine. That injury held him to just 1 1/3 innings, but he says he's good and ready to go. He's a pitcher who likes the warmer weather, and it's nice today here at Monin Park, temperature in the 60s with the sun shining.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup between the Salve Regina runners, who have 94 stolen bases on the year, and a combination between Burgos and Searles. Burgos is a 1-1, 1-2 second to the plate delivery, and Searles is one of the best defensive catchers the Beacons have seen behind the plate since Tim Fontaine.
John Militano will lead off for Salve Regina. Seahawks are 30-8 on the season, first in the CCC with a 14-2 conference record. UMass Boston 25-9 on the year, 9-3 in the Little East Conference, which puts them in second place. Numbers for Burgos this season: 7 games, 6 starts. He's 3-2 with a 4.36 ERA. He's given up 33 hits while walking 19 and striking out 30 in 33 2/3 innings of work. Third baseman Kyle Boudrias guarding against the bunt as the first pitch to Militano is a strike, and the game starts at 7:16 tonight here at Monin Park. Burgos misses the outside corner, count to 1-1 on Militano. .331 hitter, 24 RBIs out of the top spot, and he has stolen 21 bases this season. Slider, called a ball. Militano only second on the team with those 21 steals, though Endicott loves to run, and Brody Santilli in the 8th spot in the order has 25 steals this season. Burgos misses again, 3-1, and so far, if this is a sign of things to come, a very tight strike zone to start the game today.
Yeah, Burgos hasn't really struggled with walks in the past, but this year a little bit here and there. I do believe he had a 6-walk game down in Florida, and this is a team you cannot walk anybody against.
Ground ball into the hole. Charlie Hughey, the shortstop, long throw, and he beats the speedy Militano. That is not an easy play against one of the faster players in the region. 1 down, and Burgos battles back from 3-1 down in the count.
Also a tough play for Fowler at third base. The sun is coming from left to right over third base straight directly at first base. So Fowler's got to be looking through that sun. I don't believe he has sunglasses. I can't tell.
I don't think he has sunglasses on either over at first. Colton Aremian, first pitch swinging, loops in the first hit of the day for Salve Regina. Hit .316 as a team, though they're looking to snap out of a little bit of a funk. Salve Regina has lost 3 of 5. This is their final game of the regular season before starting the conference tournament this weekend. Defense for UMass Boston with Zach Smith coming to the plate. Luke Nagel in left, Sal Frascino in center, Nick Herzog in right. It's Kyle Boudrias at third, Charlie Hughey at short. Josh Lopez plays second base, Chris Fowler's at first, and Anthony Searles is the catcher. First pitch swinging, Smith pops it up, foul territory. Fowler at the fence, runs out of real estate. One down, an 0-1 count, no score, top one. Salve Regina, the number 1 ranked team in the New England region, against UMass Boston, the number 4 ranked team in the New England region. Tufts and Southern Maine also up high in the New England region as well.
Salve may be subject to fall after having a tough weekend. They lost 3 of their last 5 games.
Swept by Curry on Saturday before sweeping Nichols on Sunday, and then lost last night after coming back from 7-1 down. Ended up losing 8-7 in 10 innings to Suffolk. Zach Smith fouls this ball back. No ball, 2 strike count, top of the first. 1 down, runner on first for Salve Regina. Colton Aremian over there at first has stolen 12 bases this season. 0-2. Slider grounded right back to Burgos. Should be 2 to short for 1. Hughie to first. It's a double play. 1-6-3. And that does it for the top of inning 1. Beacon's coming to bat next on the Beacon Broadcast Network. We move to the bottom of the first at Monin Park. Here's the lineup for UMass Boston. Same lineup as last night. Josh Lopez, the second baseman, leads things off. Dan Mantoni is the designated hitter. Kyle Boudrias plays third base. Chris Fowler's over at first base. Nick Herzog's in right field. Luke Nagel is in left field. Anthony Searles is the catcher. Sal Frascino plays center field, hitting 8th. And Charlie Hughie rounds out the lineup, batting 9th for UMass Boston. Beacons this season have been one of the top hitting teams in the conference. They're batting at .286 on the year and averaging about 7 runs per game. They'll go up tonight against Matt Wood for Salve Regina. First start for Matt Wood, who has pitched in 7 games out of the bullpen. In those 7 games, Wood is 1-0. He has a 3.14 ERA. He's pitched 14 1/3 innings. He's given up 11 hits. He has walked 5 and struck out 10. So small sample size for Wood, but he's pitched pretty well in limited outings out of the bullpen. How different is your mindset, though, when you're starting the game? This is his first start.
It's always tough, adjusting from starter to reliever, as we see usually, especially in the big leagues. But as reliever to starter, you're just trying to do the same thing you would on any outing. Might be a longer day for Wood, but as a lefty, he's always going to give these Beacons batters trouble.
First pitch to Beacon leadoff man Josh Lopez outside for ball 1. Lopez had been red hot before last night, hit about 600 last week, 0 for 4 yesterday. Watches the 1-0 clip the outside corner. Lopez, a junior, against the junior Matt Wood out of Walpole, New Hampshire, and Fall Mountain High School. Lopez fouls off the 1-1, almost lost his footing there. Count comes to 1-2. Lopez followed by Mantoni and Kyle Boudrias. In the 4-spot, Beacons, Chris Fowler is hitting 27 straight games after a double yesterday. 1-2. Off the plate away. Count runs to 2-2 on the speedy Josh Lopez at the top of the order.
Beacons were able to work 8 or 9 walks last night.
Ground ball hit to short. Hunter Sleepers there. That's on the money, 1 down.
But they did leave 14 on base. So they look to be more productive with runners in scoring position than they were last night.
14 left on. 9 of those 14 were in scoring position. The alignment for the defense of Salve Regina: Dylan Ketch in left field, Brody Santilli in center, Zach Smith in right, Colton Uriman at third base, Hunter Sleeper at short, John Militano at second, Alex Perry is the first baseman, and Christian Vargas is behind the plate. 0-1 to Dan Mantoni, up and away for a ball. Mantoni sitting at .316 this season. The senior from Northbridge, Massachusetts, has 2 home runs and 29 RBIs to go along with that good batting average. Waves at this one. 1-2 count with 1 away and the base is empty. So the second game of 5 in UMass Boston's 4-day stretch. 1 game yesterday, 1 today, 1 tomorrow at Amherst, and 2 against WestCon to end the season as this is hooked away. Foul by Mantoni, and out onto the lacrosse field where St. John's Prep and BC High are wrapping up a rivalry matchup. Looks like that game just finished up with BC High taking the win. 1-2, slider, swing and a miss. Good pitch from Matt Ward as that dove out of the zone. 2 up, 2 down for Wood in his first start of the season. Two down, it brings up Kyle Boudrias.
Number 15, Kyle Boudrias.
Sophomore Boudrias is hitting at .376 on the season. Rips the first pitch right at second, and Militano grabs it at full extension. Struck well by Boudrias, but it's a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Wood. Quick first inning. We head to the second here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Back at Monin Park, 4, 5, 6 in the order coming up for Salve Regina, the number 1 ranked team in the region, starting with Alex Perry. Let's take a look at that Salve Regina batting order for you today. We've seen the first 3 batters, Militano, Airman, and Smith. Here's the rest of the group, and you can see 300 hitters up and down the order. Only 2 batters on the team hitting lower than 300 in today's starting lineup, Steve.
Yeah, it's a scary lineup for anybody. They are more of a singles team. They only have 7 home runs on the year, but they just keep the line moving, always trusting the next guy behind them, taking the walks if they can.
Play a lot of small ball with the stolen bases, moving runners on bunts as well. The pitcher for UMass Boston is Fernando Burgos. Got through the first inning allowing 1 hit, but a double play ball allowed him to face the minimum. We gave you his numbers earlier. You mentioned the walks inflated a bit by that 6-walk outing he had in Florida. When he's been able to put the walks away, he works the corners, he nibbles, and it's tough to get solid contact against him.
He gets a lot of ground balls with his 2-seam fastball and his slider combination. He's also got a pretty decent curveball, 12-6 almost. And this year he's been getting the MPH is up to 85, maybe even 86 on the radar gun. So he's put on a little weight, and he's throwing a little harder this year.
A couple starts ago, you mentioned the double play balls. He threw 3 double playground balls against Salem State, so managed to have that tailing 2-seamer, almost a sinker. Alex Perry, cleanup man, hitting at .295 with 2 home runs and 20 RBIs, digs in. First pitch breaking ball is inside. Perry out of North Attleboro, Massachusetts, played at Bishop Feehan High School. There's a slider for a strike. Perry would be familiar with making trips to this area to play games, though not Monin Park per se, as he would have played in the same conference as BC High during his high school days. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Fisted left field. Nagel going back near the track, and he's got it. Alex Perry flies out to left. Not a whole lot of breeze, but what breeze there is tonight is blowing toward left field. Had a 180 in weather from yesterday to today. Temperature today up in the 60s. Hardly a cloud in the sky after we played in that low misting fog yesterday.
Yeah, it rained pretty hard this morning, cleared up finally, and it seems like all the water's gone away clearly off the field. A little in the stands still, and the ground's a little bit wet, but on turf it's not much of a problem.
Christian Vargas fouls off the first pitch. Vargas hitting in the 5-hole. Leads Salve Regina with a .385 average. Also has 3 home runs to lead the team and 23 RBIs. Vargas out of Melbourne, Florida. Most of the roster from the New England area, but he's come up north from Florida and Melbourne Central Catholic. Quickly, though, he's down in the count 0-2. Salve Regina leads the Commonwealth Coast Conference. 3 games up on Endicott. That regular season is finished, so they're the regular season champions. They'll start their conference tournament this Friday. 0-2 slider outside. So this is Salve's regular season finale. Beacons will play at Amherst tomorrow and then wrap up the regular season with a doubleheader against Western Connecticut State Thursday to put a bow on Little East play. 1-2 slider. Just missed away. It's 2-2. Here comes Burgos' delivery. Line center field for Shino. Only has to go a couple steps back, 2 down. Now this is patented Fernando Burgos right now, pitching to contact and working quickly.
Yeah, you got to love it if you're the Beacons coaching staff. He's getting out. Excuse me. He's getting outs quickly. He's got that double play already under his belt. It always feels good. And you like to see him get a few more ground balls, especially against the lefty batters with the 2-seam going down and away from them.
Here comes Dylan Ketch, a 328 hitter out of the left-hand side. Ketch takes a cold ball. Dylan Ketch is a freshman. It's out of Clinton, Connecticut, in the Morgan School. That's down on the south coast of Connecticut. Takes a fastball down Broadway, count to 1-1. Burgos, of course, out of the Boston City League. O'Brien High School. He's one of the top pitchers in that league in his high school days. Flare to center for Shino, charging in. Long run, and that's down in front of him. Bloop single for Dylan Ketch. Second hit of the day for Salve Regina.
The designated hitter, number 4, Sam Brito.
Moves the lineup over to Sam Brito, the 7-hole hitter, the DH today. Brito's hitting at .275 for Salve Regina, a team that hits .316 as a group. Brito out of Lincoln, Rhode Island. Of course, Salve Regina comes from beautiful Newport, Rhode Island, right down on the water. Tremendous seafood, great music festival, and the Tennis Hall of Fame, along with Salve Regina in Newport, Rhode Island. Brito watches that go, called the strike. The strike zone hasn't been wide, but it looks like it may be a little bit low today.
Hey, as long as he's consistent, you can't complain. Big hole on the right side for Brito right now.
0-1 grounded at the shortstop. Hughie goes the short way, and that does it for the top of inning 2. Fernando Burgos working quickly, starting things off today. He's stranded a base runner in each of the 2 innings. We go to the bottom of the second. No score on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
We continue to the bottom of inning number 2. 2 of the top teams in the region, Salve Regina and UMass Boston. This is a win that would end up being a resume win for one of these 2 teams in case they don't win their conference championship as they look to advance to the NCAA tournament. You see Matt Wood, he cruised through the first inning, a ground out, a strikeout, and a line out. Wood will face Chris Fowler, maybe the hottest hitter in New England. Fowler takes a first pitch called ball. He's hit in 27 straight games, including a triple yesterday. He's batting .400 with 4 home runs and 34 RBIs. Nearly hit him, 2-0.
You can see the infield shifting him to pull a little bit. Shortstop not moving as far as I thought over to the right side, but there's a big hole up the middle. Hopefully Fowler can take advantage of that.
Fowler watches a strike on the inside corner. You may think, ranked in the top 4 in the regional rankings, that you're in a good spot to be an at-large team, but just ask Southern Maine last year how tough those at-large bids are to come by. Fowler pounds this one just foul right of first. So for the Beacons, a win like this would be a good feather in the cap heading toward the Little East Conference tournament, just to give a little bit of breathing room for a possible at-large bid.
Well, you always want to win your conference tournament, but the at-large bid is the fallback. The Beacons were able to lock that up last year after not beating WestCon in two separate games.
Fowler flares one to center, and there's 28 games in a row with a base hit. Chris Fowler, a line drive single. Beacons have their first hit of the day. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry to cut you off there.
It's all right. He's halfway to
Joey D at this point. Yeah.
Yep. 28, 56.
UMass Boston hit streak record is 34 games. So he's 6 away from the Beacon streak. Means he could break it if he continues hitting through the conference tournament. 5-hole hitter Nick Herzog takes up and away for ball 1.
Not sure who exactly holds that record, but I'm sure Ryan Walsh might be it. Oh, no. Brian Walsh owns most of the hitting categories in the Beacons record book.
Herzog takes a strike on the outside corner. Nick Herzog, sophomore from Riverhead, New York. Ball and a strike to Herzog. Now look, Fowler back to the bag. Not a stolen base threat. Chris Fowler has not stolen a base yet this season. Herzog fouls one off to move the count to 1-2.
We found out Steve Coffey had a 34-game hitting streak for the UMass Boston Beacons. Probably Boston State back then, 1988, 1989.
Here comes a 1-2 to Herzog, but first to pick off to check Fowler. Now, 2 offenses that both average close to 7 runs a game, but 2 pitching staffs that both have low ERAs. Beacon's ERA right about 3, same for Salve Regina. Curveball floated, foul, and it gets out of play down the right field line. Salve Regina's team ERA is 3.21. Beacon team ERA so far this season is just slightly better. UMass Boston's team ERA is 2.99, first in the conference. Impressive thing, Steve, these Salve Regina pitchers do is they strike out more than 10 batters per 9 innings, and they have almost a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Herzog flares it down the line again and out of play.
Beacons are usually a team that strikes out more than they walk, but as of late, this winning streak, they've been taking a lot of balls and putting a lot of hits in the gaps.
This season for the Beacons, 178 walks, 232 strikeouts. Again, we'll check Fowler. Paying a lot of attention to a guy who hasn't stolen a base yet this season. Matt Wood comes to the plate. Herzog takes a hanging breaking ball and rips it into left. Back-to-back singles to start the inning for UMass Boston. They're cooking with hot oil here in the bottom of the second.
Now, it'd be interesting to see if Coach Agarbro puts on a bunt here. There is runners on first and second, no outs. It's usually a typical bunt situation, but Luke Nagel is one of your hottest hitters. I'd like to see him let Luke swing the bat.
Luke went 3 for 5 yesterday, including the walk-off game-winning hit in the 10th. Over his last 4 games, he is now 10 for 15, hitting .667. There's a lefty-on-lefty matchup here. And if Luke is called upon to bunt, he does handle the bat pretty well. He squares. So all indications point toward a bunt right now for Luke Nagel as the Beacons look to play some small ball. Would set up Anthony Searles the opportunity to get the runners home. Searles coming off one of his best games this season. He had a game-tying 2-run home run yesterday in the 7th inning. Snap to second again, and Fowler's diving in safely. Fowler and Herzog have both reached on singles. Nagel bunts beautifully down the line. Pitcher Woodfield skips the throw just in time on a bang-bang play. That was a tremendous bunt by Luke Nagel. Fowler to third, Herzog to second, and Anthony Searles will have the opportunity to put the Beacons in front here, bottom 2.
Yeah, Nagel's not the speediest of types. Even though he is in the outfield, he's a typical first baseman. Not the wheels you were hoping. I thought he made that play. He definitely made that play close. I thought he beat it out, but I don't have the best view, so I'm going to have to trust the umpire on that one.
Just a tremendous spot on that bunt, about 20 feet down the third baseline. Here's Searles, senior captain, takes a curveball for strike one. Searles hitting at 173 on the year, but bopped his first home run of the season yesterday. 12 RBIs as well.
He's been hitting the ball a lot better of late. Struggled in the beginning of half the season. Struggled a lot with the strikeouts. Kind of limited them of late.
Pops this foul, and now he's down in the count 0-2.
But he's got to be able to put this ball in the outfield, make that bunt worth it from Nagel.
Interestingly, here in the second inning, Salve Regina has brought its middle infield halfway in. So thinking about possibly trying to cut Fowler down at the plate in the second of 9 scheduled innings today.
Well, they do know Fowler's not the fastest type, so even not a perfectly hard hit ball, they can still cut him down at home plate.
0-2, grounded right to short. Fowler's coming. The shortstop sleeper throws home, and the ball skips away from the catcher Vargas. Fowler's safe. Searles will pick up the RBI as he reaches on the fielder's choice, and they'll score an E6. Herzog to third, runners on the corners. One nothing Beacons, bottom 2, and runners on the corners.
RBI or no? No RBI.
In fact, no RBI to Anthony Searles because the error was charged on the throw to the shortstop sleeper. Would have had Fowler with
he was
the
dead
play
to rights.
made.
But that throw was just up the line too far.
Frashino bunts this one, suicide squeeze. He scores the run, and he's safe at first. It's a bunt single. Sal Frashino's 9th RBI of the year. Herzog scores. 2-0 Beacons, bottom 2.
Yeah, Sal's been able to do that all year long, usually utilizing the third base line, but dragged that one down the first base line and showed off his speed. He's one of the fastest Beacons on the team and just beat that one out.
Third hit of the inning for UMass Boston. Runners on first and second for the 9-hole hitter Charlie Hughey in a matchup of 2 of the top 4 ranked teams in the New England region. Hughey hitting at .230 this season. He does have a home run and 19 RBIs from the 9 spot. Hughey showing bunt. Runners going on a delayed steal. Throw down, and Herzog is gunned out. Excuse me, that's Anthony Searles caught stealing third. Frashino stays put at first. So an 0-1 count, all of a sudden 2 outs on the Beacons with Frashino still on first. Hughey skies hit right field. Should be playable for Smith. Long run down the line. He slides and makes the catch. Zach Smith was shifted over toward right center, so he had a long way to go on what looked like a routine fly ball, but put it away with a nifty grab up against the fence. Still, the Beacons score their first 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave a runner aboard. 2-0 UMass Boston heading to the third.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
We go to the top of the third at Monin Park, 2-0 UMass Boston. Let's look at the 4 things you need to know for today's matchup between the Beacons and the Seahawks. Both teams played in the Mid-Atlantic NCAA Regional last year. UMass Boston red hot during this 8-game win streak. Look at that margin, outscoring opponents 61-12. Salve Regina, we mentioned they're the CCC champs, but they have struggled just slightly over the past week, losing 3 of their last 5. Still, they're ranked first in the region. Beacons ranked 4th. Top of the third, it's back to the 7-8-9 spots in the order. Excuse me, the 8-9-1 spots in the order. Santilli, Sleeper, and Militano. Fernando Burgos has worked really quickly so far, scattering just his 2 hits over the first 2 innings. Beacons lead 2-0 after 2 runs in the bottom of the second, scoring 1 unearned run and 1 run off a Salve Regina suicide squeeze. Brody Santilli takes ball 1. This is the guy you've got to keep off the base pass, Steve. 25 stolen bases this season.
Yeah, Burgos definitely cannot afford to walk him.
Ground ball hit to second. Lopez charges. And there's 1 down. Santilli sent back to the dugout. Another ground ball out for Fernando Burgos.
Santelli didn't look too fast running down first baseline. He could just get great jumps on the base, have great instincts, or maybe he just has another gear that we didn't see.
Whatever it is, he's 25 for 26 stealing bases this season, so he's figured it out on the base paths. Hunter Sleeper fouls the first pitch back. Sleeper hitting at .308 on the season, 27 RBIs, and he's a perfect 6 for 6 stealing bases this year. 0-1 from Burgos. That's a called strike on the inside corner. Don't think either of these teams were able to be great sleepers last night with games going into extra innings for both sides. Beacons playing till about 11 o'clock last night here at Monin Park. 0-2 to Sleeper is taken down low for a ball. Hunter Sleeper is senior out of Arlington, Massachusetts. Played at Arlington High School. Flares at the 1-2 and spoils it out of play. After Sleeper, it's back to the top of the order for Salve Regina, with the Beacons leading the Seahawks 2-0. Sleeper fights off another pitch from Fernando Burgos. No strikeouts yet for Burgos, pitching to contact so far. He's yet to walk anybody as well. Here's that 1-2. Again, spoiled foul. Sleeper doing a nice job letting that ball travel deep and just fighting it off at the end.
Yeah, he's just trying to protect the plate right now. He could have been looking for an off speed there, which is why he was so late on the fastball. Just fouling it off, staying alive.
Another 1-2. Fastball called, strike 3. First strikeout for Burgos. Had Sleeper frozen with that low heat. So 2 quick outs here in the third with the bases empty. John Militano, the leadoff man, hits for the second time today. Militano grounded out to short in the first. Line drive, right field, base hit. Militano's aboard with the third hit of the day for Salve Regina. One hit so far in each of the first 3 innings. Fowler was in defending against a bunt there, standing on, in air quotes, the grass. The grass turf instead of the dirt turf here at Monin Park.
Yeah, we got to be careful with Militano stealing bases right here.
21 stolen bases this year for John Militano in 25 tries, and with 2 outs, good situation to run. Colton Aremian's the batter. He singled back in the first. Like you said, Fernando Burgos does a great job holding runners on base, so that's a big boost to a catcher. He's quick to the plate as well. And then Anthony Searles has been one of the top defensive catchers for the Beacons in recent history. Militano dives ahead of the Burgos throw. Along with just making those throws over to first, what are some other things that pitchers who are good at holding runners on can do?
You always have to vary your time in the home plate. The runner is always looking for that 1 second, 2 seconds pitcher delivers a pitch, whereas Burgos usually takes his time. You can see he's holding the ball a while, making sure Militano does not get a good jump and does not get 2-3 steps before he delivers a pitch towards home plate.
Aremian fouled the first pitch back because Militano had bluffed the steal, took a couple steps but didn't get a great jump.
Oh, 1 count is always a good count for runners to steal because they're expecting an off-speed pitch from Burgos in this situation.
Not going. It's a pitch out. So the Beacons were thinking like you were, but Militano didn't run, so ball and a strike. So often after the pitch out, you'll see the runner take off, not expecting a second pitch out.
Can't say I've ever seen 2 pitch outs in a row.
1-1. Militano still not going. Pitch inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count to Aremian. And you can't put all your focus on Militano because Aremian's a .323 hitter, already has a single today. Still no movement. Slider is called a ball. Hitters count for Aremian. 3 balls and a strike.
Searles also has the arm to throw behind Militano at first base. See if he tries to bail Burgos out of a big inning.
Militano off first, Aremian at the dish. He's running on 3-1, and that's ball 4. John Militano into second. Colton Aremian walks. First walk today for Burgos. 2 on for Zach Smith, .336, 3-hole hitter who bounced into a 1-6-3 double play that ended the first. Burgos starting for the first time in a couple of weeks. Had a leg injury 2 weeks ago against Southern Maine. Pitched only an inning and a third. So he's already gotten past that mark through through 2 2/3 innings here in the top of the third. Starts with this slider. There's that back snap from Searles on the bag and nearly got Aremian, who's back in safely. .1-0 to sophomore Zach Smith out of New Canaan, Connecticut, where he has put together a first-team All-Region, first-team All-League season in each of his last 2 years. Smith takes low.
Burgos is currently worrying a little bit too much about the running game. Keeps looking back at Militano at second base, not really focusing on the batter, who's most important right now.
That's what a good running team can do, put that pressure and really be a bit of a pest to an opposing pitcher. That's a strike at the knees. 2 balls and a strike to Zach Smith with 2 down, 2 on for Salve Regina. Beacons lead the Seahawks 2-0. Final light in Boston right around 8 o'clock at night tonight. Very clear. Will get cool as it gets darker and darker and the sun drops further behind the city skyline. 2-1 slider. Call the late strike. Delayed call from the home plate umpire, and it levels the count at 2-2. Militano on second, Aremian on first. Fernando Burgos trying to escape his biggest jam so far today. This is the first time that Salve Regina has had a runner in scoring position. Beacon scored 2 in the bottom of the second. Burgos retired the first 2 batters of this inning before Militano singled and Aremian walked. Here comes Burgos' delivery. Slider, got him. Good off-speed pitch from Fernando Burgos, and Zach Smith is down to end the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Beacon still lead 2-0 on the UMass Boston Beacons Broadcast Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university.
Beautiful evening in Boston as you look to downtown Boston over our monster here at Moden Park. Alongside former Beacon Steve Consiglio, I'm Bill Spalding. Glad to be with you. Let's take a look at the all-time series history. These teams are not regular opponents. This is the first time they've played since 2000. 5-5 overall. Salve won the last meeting in 2000. Though both teams won in that doubleheader. Salve a 5-2 win. The Beacons an 11-3 win. Beacons have never strung together back-to-back wins as these teams have basically traded wins throughout their history. Once you've seen a team for the first time in 17 years, though, you really can't take anything from the series history because the programs are so different at this point 17 years later. Different coaches, of course, different players. The freshmen on these teams were maybe a year old the last time these teams played.
Yeah, Salve is always a team that Coach Agerbro wants on his schedule. Unfortunately, the past 2 years, they've been pushed off due to rainouts in conference games, and last year was a rainout in Salve.
New pitcher for Salve Regina as we start this third inning. Frank Lemieux is the new pitcher taking over for Matt Wood. Wood pitches 2 innings, gives up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 1. So it's Frank Lemieux on the mound. So far this season, Lemieux has pitched in 10 games. He's made 2 starts. He's 3-0, but with a 7.71 ERA. He also has 2 saves. He's pitched 14 innings, giving up 21 hits. He's only walked 5, and he struck out 10. Lemieux is senior from Marshfield, Massachusetts, out of Marshfield High School. And he'll start against the top of the UMass Boston order here in the third. Josh Lopez, Dan Mantoni, and Kyle Boudrias. Not sure what's going on here. Lemieux talking with one of the coaches, and now a very animated discussion, looking over to the base umpires. Was he wearing something white? Yeah, he had a looked like a wristband or something that had to be removed.
Don't know why the coach is making such a big deal over it. Usually, if it's just an armband, it comes right off. It's not that big of a deal. But clearly the coach is unhappy about something. Hopefully that is not health-related for Lemieux on the mound.
2-0 lead for UMass Boston as we start the third. Josh Lopez, Dan Mantoni, and Kyle Boudrias will bat. They went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. Lopez grounded to short. Mantoni struck out. Boudrias lined out to second. Already today, Chris Fowler has extended his hit streak to 28 games. He's due up 4th this inning. First pitch strike to Lopez, looking for his first hit in 6 at-bats after a red-hot week last week. Lemieux and a swing and a miss as Lemieux pulled the string on that one. 0-2 to Lopez. Lopez went around on a breaking ball in the dirt. Ball still free as Lopez is digging, and a good play by the catcher Vargas to get Josh Lopez. I believe Vargas looked like he actually rolled that out in front of himself to clear space. That was an interesting way of going about it. It was as if he threw a bunt out in front.
It was a great play by him, making sure he gets the ball around Lopez, running down the line. You do see a lot on usually bunts, but catchers throwing the ball, hitting the runners in the back. But Vargas was able to get it out in front.
Obviously, you usually see the catcher clear space with its feet, but what Vargas did there, rolling the ball out and then picking it back up, not sure I've ever seen that before. Mantoni fouls this back and moves the count to 0-2. Dan Mantoni struck out in his first at-bat as well, chased a breaking ball on an 0-2 count. Good start for Frank Lemieux out of the bullpen. He just missed the outside corner with a fastball. Big week for senior Dan Mantoni as a big engineering presentation on Thursday as well before the Beacons take on Western Connecticut State in a doubleheader. Because of that presentation, Mantoni likely will pitch the second game of the doubleheader instead of the first. 1-2. Missed the corner again. 2 pitches nibbling for the outside black.
Salve Regina fans unhappy with that call from the umpire.
Here's a 2-2. There's a called strike 3. Now Mantoni could only look at those close pitches so many times and survive. Second consecutive strikeout to start the outing for Frank Lemieux. So Mantoni's 0 for 2 today. Kyle Boudrias will hit. Facing Wood back in the first. Boudrias stung a ball to second, but it was right at the second baseman, John Militano. Boudrias takes a ball outside here. Remember, today's game started at 7:15 on the schedule instead of the usual 7 o'clock start, so we've just crossed the 8 o'clock hour here as we play the bottom of the third. 1 ball, 1 strike count to Kyle Boudrias. Boudrias line drive right center field. This has some carry on it. Santilli chasing it down. Can't get there. Bounces in right center. He was making sure he held Boudrias to a single. So it's a long single for Kyle Boudrias. He'll be on first, 1 with 2 down. And Chris Fowler hitting again. Fowler singled to center in his first at-bat to bump his batting average above 400 again. Now hitting .402. Off-speed pitch for strike 1 from Lemieux. 4 home runs, 34 RBIs for Fowler this season. Wind blowing slightly in from right toward left. Fowler serves this ball high in the air to left field. Catch back, turning, looking, and it's gone! Fowler clears the monster. Beacons lead 4-0.
Just a great piece of hitting there for Fowler. Got a fastball up in the zone, up and away, and just completely went with it. Didn't break his wrist, just sent it over that monster. Great piece of hitting by Fowler. It shows how strong he is.
One of those that looked like it may bounce off the wall. Catch was ready to play the hop, but it just carried over the 27-foot wall in left here at Moden Park. Chris Fowler's 5th home run of the year, a 4-0 lead for Fernando Burgos on the mound and the Beacons. Nick Herzog at the plate. He singled and scored back in the second. Now this is the second game of 5 in 4 days, so it'd be important if the Beacons can build a big cushion here, give Burgos a little bit more freedom to go deeper into this game and maybe save a bit of the bullpen.
Absolutely. Gerson went 5 innings yesterday. Big outing from the freshman. And now Burgos Burgos trying to go 6-7 today.
Pounded to third. Throw across from Colton Aremian is just in time, and it ends the inning, but not before. Chris Fowler's 2-out, 2-run home run puts UMass Boston ahead 4-0. We go to the fourth on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Beautiful night in Boston, and we roll on to the fourth inning. Fernando Burgos is staked out to a 4-0 lead for UMass Boston as he starts his fourth inning of work. 2-run home run from Chris Fowler, who has hit in 28 consecutive games, has opened it up a bit for the Beacons. With former Beacon Steve Consiglio, Bill Spalding, glad to be with you. Fernando Burgos has scattered 3 hits over 3 innings. He's stranded 4 Salve Regina runners on base. 4-5-6 for Salve Regina here in the fourth. Alex Perry, Christian Vargas, and Dylan Ketch. First pitch buzzes inside. Perry takes ball 1. Perry flew out to left field back in the 7th. He was a little bit jammed, but still got it out to the warning track. Breaking pitch is low, 2-0. 1 walk so far for Burgos over the first 3 innings. Picked up a pair of strikeouts, including 1 to end the third with 2 on base. Ground ball hit to short on 2-0. Hughie vacuums it up. There's 1 down. Now Burgos has benefited from that running fastball on 2-0 because on a number of hitters' counts, 2-0 or 3-1, we've seen Salve Regina's Seahawks just pounded into the ground.
Yeah, and makes Burgos so much more effective because they play on turf, true hop every single time, and defenses don't really make nearly as many errors on turf as on dirt.
385 hitter Christian Vargas digs in. Was 3rd team all-conference last year, likely be on the first team with a 385 average this time around. Takes a first pitch strike. Vargas flew out to center field, and Sal Fruscino back in inning 2. Slider. Low, 1-1. Vargas is a business administration major at Salve Regina out of Melbourne, Florida. Burgos working so quickly there. He was trying to quick pitch Vargas, and Vargas called time. One. Line drive. Hughie dives and snags it out of midair. Oh, what a play by Charlie Hughie. Helps when you got defense like that behind you as well.
Absolutely. Hughie, the Beacons also backup catcher, converted first baseman last year, and now he ends up at shortstop this year.
Started the season at second base, but Dave Murphy's early season injury, which has knocked him out for the year, forced Hughie to move from second to short. Dylan Ketch bats now. Takes first pitch strike. Ketch singled back in the second. Ketch seems like a pretty good last name for an outfielder. Maybe only be better if he was a catcher. This pitch is down and in, and it's 1-1. During a week with 5 games in 4 days, you have to allow me at least a couple of those, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
1-1 to catch. Nub slowly found. Count moves to 1-2. Burgos looking for his first 3-up, 3-down inning of the game. He did face 3 in the first, but benefited from a double play ball after allowing a single. Burgos called strike 3 as he buzzes the inside corner. Third strikeout for Burgos, and he is cruising here through 4. 4-0 Beacons as we go to the bottom of the 4th on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Back in Monin Park, time to take a look around Beaconville, where it's playoff season for most of the spring sports. Men's lacrosse will take on Plymouth State on Thursday. You see the big score from up top. Softball winning in extra innings in a wild game, down 4-0, up 8-4. They eventually win 9-8 in 9 innings. They'll play at Plymouth State on Thursday, while men's lacrosse will host Plymouth State on Thursday. Men's tennis also hosts a Little East Conference semifinal, though they'll play it at the Weymouth Club on Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Back here in Beaconville at Monin Park with Steve Consiglio, I'm Bill Spalding. 4-0 UMass Boston leads as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Beacons have scored 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. The biggest blow of the day, a 2-run Chris Fowler home run in the 3rd. Second inning of work for Frank Lemieux, the second pitcher today for Salve Regina. His first pitch is way inside to Luke Nagel. Nagel sacrifice bunted back in the 2nd. It was a perfect bunt just down the 3rd baseline. He's 10 for his last 15 over the last 5 Beacon games. Hammers this one to 2nd. Oh, what a pickup on one hop. John Militano. Looking like Spider-Man the way he contorted that arm and made the catch. It's a tough out for Nagel, 1 away to start the inning. Now on that turf, when you know the ball's going to roll a bit, it does allow the second baseman to play a little bit deeper. Militano is 2 steps into the outfield there when that ball was struck. Anthony Searles takes ball 1. Searles bounced the ball to shortstop with runners on 2nd and 3rd last inning. The shortstop sleeper threw it away, and that allowed Chris Fowler to come home and score. Searles takes a called strike. Officially, he's 0 for 1, reaching on a fielder's choice. Searles shows bunt and takes ball 2. That snuck up and caught the catcher, Vargas. Matt Wood started the game. 2 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. Frank Lemieux has pitched an inning and a 3rd. He's allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, and hasn't walked anybody yet. Two 2-1 from Lemieux. High and inside. It is ball 3. High fastball, ball 4. Anthony Searles picks up his 29th walk of the season, which leads the team. He's a 1-out base runner. He finds ways to contribute even in a year where he's only hitting 173.
Yeah, he's just a veteran player. Maybe putting a little bit too much pressure on himself, being a senior, being his last year playing for the Beacons. You know, he's coming around lately, hitting the ball a lot harder, seeing the ball a lot better, and limiting strikeouts.
Salve bats, reached on a bunt single that drove in a run back in the 2nd. It's a suicide squeeze for Frashino, and he brought the ball with him right down the first baseline. Allowed Nick Herzog to score from third. Oh, 1. Slider is outside. Moves the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on Frashino. Sal Frashino, speedy center fielder for the Beacons. Junior from Derby, Connecticut. Base runner Searles goes back to first. Already 4-0 UMass Boston, 1-1 from Lemieux. Misses down and away. So far, this game against the region's #1 ranked team, Salve Regina, has gone just the way the region's 4th ranked team, UMass Boston, would want. Fernando Burgos throwing strikes, pitching to contact, and the Beacons manufacturing some runs early. Runner going. Frashino drives this one, hits off the end of the bat a bit, so Smith is in, and he puts it away. Searles retreats to first.
I do believe that was a hit and run there. Sal's got to put that ball on the ground so he's at least advancing the runner to second base. If he fails to do that, hits a fly ball to right field. It doesn't do anything for the Beacons offense.
Searles back at first. Charlie Hugie bats. Hugie flew out to right. Diving play by the right fielder, Zach Smith, going toward the foul line to retire Hugie in the second. Lines this ball floating towards short, and it's grabbed by Hunter Sleeper. Got it in on the fists. 1 pitch out, ends the 4th. Frank Lemieux bounces back from a 2-run third with a scoreless 4th. Still 4-0 UMass Boston as we move to the 5th on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Fernando Burgos continues on the mound for UMass Boston as we move to the 5th inning against nation's 20th ranked team, Salve Regina. Beacons lead 4-0. Burgos pitched 4 innings, has given up just 3 hits and a walk while striking out 3. He'll face 7, 8, 9 in the order here. Sam Brito, Brody Santilli, and Hunter Sleeper. They went down in their first time through. Santilli is that guy you really have to keep off the base pass. 25 steals in 26 tries. What do you thought about Burgos' overall approach today and the way he's executed, Steve?
Well, he's showing off how good he was last year. He won Rookie of the Year, the LEC, and he's just showing off what the pitcher he was last year. You can see he's not throwing as hard as he usually does. He's sitting around 82, 83, not trying to gas it up, using the movement on his fastball and that slider a lot, so he can get those Salve Regina hitters to just bounce the ball on the ground and take those lazy fly balls. I do believe Vargas has got a hold of him the best. He's still 0 for 2. He had a long fly ball. Oh, excuse me, Perry. He had a long fly ball to left, and he scorched the ground ball right at Hugie and grounded out. But right now, Burgos is really rolling.
Sam Brito will bat. 0 for 1 so far today. Brito hits in the 7 hole, batting at .275 on the year. Burgos buzzes the inside corner. Brito is right on top of the plate, so he backed away from that one, but it caught the black.
Yeah, usually those hitters that crowd the plate have really quick hands.
Brito tries to drop it down the line. It's a foul ball, and the count's now 0-2. 4-0 UMass Boston. The big blow so far today, a 2-run home run from Chris Fowler. Fowler has scored 2 of the 4 runs as well. High fastball, count to 1-2. Burgos not a tall guy. He's only about 5'8" or 5'9", but he can hum it up there with that fastball. You mentioned he's added a few miles per hour this season. 1-2, Sky, third base side. Should be Boudrias' ball in foul territory. And he drops it into fair territory. E5 on Kyle Boudrias. Brito reaches. Right off the bat, Steve, it looked like Boudrias took a while to find that ball and was never really comfortable there.
Yeah, Boudrias tends to struggle with those fly balls in fair territory. That one came back into, foul territory. That one came back fair. And it's unfortunate error. Hopefully Burgos can get that ground ball, double play, and save himself that error from Boudrias.
Brody Santilli at the dish, grounded out to second back in the third. 294 hitter with 14 RBIs. Now you hate to make an error when you're rolling like this up 4-0. Sometimes that can be what opens the door. Santilli showing bunt. It's a strike. Gets away from the catcher, and that allows Brito to advance. Brito to second on the pass ball, a rare pass ball from Anthony Searles.
If Brito scores, that run will be unearned for Burgos since the error and the pass ball.
Yep.
Beacon still expecting the bunt. Bring the corner infielders in.
And remember, Santilli has 25 stolen bases. He's a speed threat, so he could bunt for a base hit as well. Burgos throws a fastball. No sign of a bunt there, and the count's 1-1.
I like the call by the Salve Regina coach. This is not a bunting situation. Down 4 runs. You do want that run to score, but you're not risking it out for it.
Slider low, 2-1. Four 0 UMass Boston, top of the 5th. An error to start this inning on a dropped pop-up has given some life to Salve Regina. They came back from 6 down yesterday to force extra innings against Suffolk before falling 8-7 in 10. Oh, that's called a ball. 3-1. Burgos misses with ball 4. Was close to the zone with those pitches, but didn't get the call. 2 on, nobody out. 9-hole hitter Hunter sleeper bats, and then it's to the top of the order for Salve Regina. Remember, it all started with an error.
Now this may be a bunting situation for Salve Regina. 2 runs are much more. They're a lot. Oh wow, they're worth bunting for. Take the out, get 2 guys in scoring position. So you got the top of the order coming up.
What do you think's being said in this meeting right now on the mound?
Gamble's just trying to calm Burgos down. Burgos is unhappy with the strike zone. He thought he threw 2 strikes there, both of which called balls by the home plate umpire. And Gamble just wants him to go right after sleeper here.
Pitching coach Dan Gamble out there talking to Fernando Burgos and had words for the rest of the group as well as they'll look to get out of this inning. Burgos escaped a 2-on jam in the 3rd with a strikeout, but that was 2 on with 2 out. Here 2 on, nobody out. Beacon's leading 4-0. At this point, you're just looking to avoid the big inning. If you surrender 1, even 2 here, you get out of this still with the lead.
Well, there's a reason Salve Regina is number 1 in New England. You can't give them any runs here. You got to find a way to get out of it if you're Burgos.
Salve Regina 30-8 on the season. They've won the CCC, Commonwealth Coast Conference, with a 14-2 record. Sleeper didn't give away a bunt there as Burgos spins towards second. Chris Fowler expecting the bunt. He was only 75 feet from the plate. He's backed off just slightly now. He's creeping forward again as Burgos sets. Sleeper not bunting, grounds it. Fowler diving play and elects to just take it to the bag for the out. Hunter's Sleeper almost got it past Chris Fowler. That would have been a dandy. Instead, Fowler saves a run for the time being, but Sleeper does advance Brito to third and Santilli to second.
It was effectively a bunt. Really did the job, moved the runners up, and outstanding play by Fowler at first, laying out for that ball. Not throwing that ball to second. He had no chance to run it and could have ended up throwing it away into the outfield, which would have scored the 2 runs. Just smart play, taking the out at first.
You called for something kind of like that a couple times yesterday in a close game. A batter seeing the corner infielders crashing in and just slashing at it to try and get it by. Almost worked perfectly. Here's John Militano. He has grounded out and singled against Burgos today. Swing and miss for strike 1. Third baseman Boudrias is in. Playing back up the middle, happily the shortstop and second baseman Hughie and Lopez will trade a run for an out. And Fowler's back behind the bag at first as well. Called ball on a pitch outside, count to 1-1 on Militano, the junior leadoff man. Top of inning 5, 4-0 the Beacons lead. UMass Boston ranked 4th in New England. Salve Regina is still ranked number 1, though they've lost 3 of 5. Slider, drilled, hooking, and foul. Couldn't keep that fair around Pesky's pole.
Really flirting with Pesky pole. Burgos has got to make sure he's keeping it away from Militano, who just showed the power down the right field line. It is deep to right, dead right field, but if Militano can keep that ball fair, it is gone.
Brito on third, Santilli on second. Of course, we say Pesky's pole because this is a Fenway Park replica here at Moden Park. Maybe we'll get a Beacon who hits it a couple of times throughout the course of a season sometime in the next few years, and we can name it after that Beacon. One-two from Burgos. Ground ball to second. This will score the run. Lopez fields, retires Militano. Brito scores. It's an RBI ground out for John Militano, 4-1.
Great job by Militano there. Fooled by a slider down. Could have swung over and missed. Was able to put the ball in play, scored the run, and now Salve Regina's on the board.
All that said, if Burgos is able to get Arimi in here, he'll probably take the 1 run allowed after there were 2 on and nobody out to start the inning. Remember, that run unearned because Brito reached on the error. Any run the rest of the way will be unearned because if not for the error, there'd already be 3 outs. 1-0 to Colton Arimian. He has singled and walked so far today. Arimian pounds this one toward his own dugout. Ball and a strike. That's how quickly the game can turn with a leadoff error. Let's open the door a bit for Salve Regina. Burgos misses high. 2 balls and a strike to Colton Arimian. That was his 70th pitch of the day. So he's thrown 18 this inning after just 52 over the first 4. Starting to shorten his outlook a bit with this inning here from Salve Regina. This is hammered to left field. Nagel back, he looks up, and that is gone. A blast from Colton Arimian. It's a 1-run game. His second home run of the season. Those runs will be unearned, but they count all the same. 4-3. The error opened the door, and Salve Regina's brought the whole family in for the party now.
Yeah, they took advantage of the mistakes by the Beacons, the drop ball, the pass ball, everything. It shows why they're so good. Take advantage of the other team's mistakes. It's all you have to do in D3 baseball to be successful. They do happen here and there, especially at this level. And you got to be aware you can't make those mistakes if you want to win ball games.
Burgos brings the count to 1-1 with that pitch down and away to Zach Smith. Smith is 0 for 2 today, grounded into a double play his first at bat. He struck out in his second at bat. This is hit hard to center field. Frashino going back, still on the move, and it's over his head off the wall in center. Ball may have glanced off him. Zach Smith to second base, and it's an E8 on Frashino.
Don't know if Burgos lost that in the lights. Excuse me, Sal Frashino lost that in the lights, but it just went off his glove, and that is an error. That's a ball he catches all the time.
2 errors this inning, and if you give 5 outs to a team that hits .316 and averages about 7 runs a game, they'll generally make it sting, and so far the Seahawks have. Here's Alex Perry trying to erase the entirety of what was a 4-run deficit coming into the inning.
Beacon's bullpen is starting to stir. No one throwing yet.
They checked over at first as Chris Fowler thought the base runner Smith had missed the bag. The field umpire says Zach Smith did clip the bag on his way to second.
I don't know, but that's almost never picked up by a 2-umpire crew. It's just too hard. You got both umpires checking out, see if the ball's caught. That's more of a 3-4 umpire crew that's checking to make sure each base is touched.
1 ball, no strike count to Alex Perry. Junior in the cleanup spot, 20 RBIs, 2 home runs this season. Burgos finds the outside corner, count to 1-1. Bullpen still quiet for the Beacons, and for Burgos, he hasn't pitched all that poorly this inning. He's just given up that 1 hit. It did happen to be a home run, but 2 errors as well. And that's really torpedoed the inning for Burgos and the Beaks.
Pitch count up to 76. At this point, if you're a Beacons coach, best case scenario, he gets through 7 innings, but that's unlikely right now.
1-1. Down low, now it's 2-1. It's been a long inning. That's the 25th pitch of this inning as well, so as that piles up in the frame, you start to get more fatigued. Mostly high-stress pitches this inning as well, as there have been runners on from the start thanks to that error. Ground ball through the whole left side. Smith rounds third. The throw from Nagel cut. The relay safe. We're tied at 4 as Alex Perry drives home Zach Smith with an RBI single. So Boudrias cut the throw and then tried to relay it on. Before the throw was cut, it looked like it maybe would have been on time.
I think it would have been too far up the first base line. It would have been on time, definitely, but it would not have been on target.
Yep. Watching the replay on our monitor now, saw just that. So Boudrias had to cut it. Smith scores. 4-4, and Salve Regina once again has a runner in scoring position. Christian Vargas, the 8th batter to hit for Salve Regina. Wild pitch will send Perry to third. So wheels starting to come off a little bit for the Beacons, and now all of a sudden there is some action out in the pen. All these runs unearned against Fernando Burgos thanks to 2 errors in this inning.
Burgos has to bear down, show he is a veteran, even though he's only a sophomore, and get this out.
Sliders outside. 2-ball, no strike count to Vargos. Burgos nearing in on 30 pitches in the frame.
Surprised we haven't seen another mound visit from Searles. Usually tends to slow the games down for the pitching staff, so it makes it easier. If Burgos ends up walking Vargas, I would assume that Searles goes out to talk to him just to cool him down a little bit.
Probably also to give some time to the bullpen, which is cranking as well. 2-1 count to Christian Vargas, a .385 hitter in the 5-hole.
There is someone throwing in the bullpen now.
That's a strike on the outside corner, 2-2 to Vargas, who has flown to center and lined out to short. Charlie Hughie snagged a diving play in the shortstop hole last inning to rob Vargas of a single. 2-2. Sprayed foul. So it stays at 2-2 with 2 away. An error to start the inning, and then an error a couple batters ago that extended the inning, and that's allowed 4 runs to come home. 4 all. Top 5. Go-ahead run on third for Salve Regina. Burgos is 2-2. Loop center field, falling quickly. Frashino dives and makes the catch. So Sal Frashino makes amends for an earlier inning error, keeping the game tied and ending at the top of the 5th with a sliding play. Sends us to the bottom of inning number 5. Salve Regina's 4-run top of the frame has us tied at 4 on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
John Lynch is the new pitcher for Salve Regina, the 3rd pitcher of the game after Frank Lemieux pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. The Chris Fowler homer. He walked 1. He struck out 2. So Frank Lemieux, off the hook, he could have been a pitcher of record. Instead, he'll get a no decision. And the new pitcher is Jonathan Lynch for Salve Regina. This season, Jonathan Lynch, out of the bullpen, has pitched in 11 games. And how about this, Steve? He has yet to allow a run. He's 1-0 with a 0.00 ERA. He's pitched 13 in the 3rd innings, only given up 12 hits. He allowed 1 unearned run, but no earned runs. He has only walked 3, and he has struck out 10. He does have that somewhat deceptive sidearm delivery here.
Yeah, and the best way he's going to get people out is with his slider. You know, he used his fastball to get ahead, and there's a slider from him right there.
First pitch to leadoff man Josh Lopez is ball 1. Lynch, a junior from Cumberland, Rhode Island, also played at Bishop Feion High School in Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
Tough strike, count to 1-1 on Lopez, who's 0 for 2 today and now 0 for his last 7 after a red-hot week last week. Fly ball, right field. Slicing into foul territory and dropping in between the second baseman Militano, the first baseman Perry, and the right fielder Smith.
Now Lopez has got to make sure he doesn't chase that slider away. If you're Lynch, you want to get that slider not only down in the zone but away from Lopez so he can't poke it over the first baseman's head or even pull it down the 3rd base line.
One, 2. Lopez just got a piece of it.
went to the fastball there and crossed up Lopez inside.
If you've got this kind of sidearm delivery, when do most college pitchers discover, what age do they discover that they can throw sidearm like this as Lopez is rung up? First strikeout for Lynch. Is that something you do when you're in high school and realize, hey, maybe I don't throw it 90, so I've got to be a little bit more deceptive? Or is that something even at the college level that you might make that adjustment?
I was actually a sidearm
I remember that. I remember you were a sidearm delivery.
pitcher myself.
Yeah.
I converted as a freshman.
In high school or in college?
In college,
okay.
after my coach asked me to drop down, see how it felt.
First pitch plunks Dan Mantoni, and he reaches on the hit by pitch.
Now, most people think it hurts more than throwing over the top, but I never felt any pain dropping down. I didn't throw as hard. I think I sat around 80 my junior year versus I was over the top around 84, 85. You do lose the miles per hour, but at the same time you gain so much more movement. A lot of the times it's worth it.
Dan Mantoni on for the first time today in a tie game, 4-4 bottom 5 after Salve Regina scored 4 in the top of the inning, and now Kyle Boudrias plays bingo up the middle. Mantoni digging for third, and the throw's off the line from the center fielder Santilli. It was a big risk with one away, but Mantoni's in. Runners on the corners for Chris Fowler, who's yet to be retired today, a single and a home run. And against a right-handed sidearm batter, it's even more of an advantage to be a left-handed bat because the ball will break toward you instead of breaking away and diving to the outside part of the plate or off the plate away.
Personally, facing Fowler in the past, he owned me. Absolutely crushed baseballs off me. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was a sidearmer, maybe because he picked it up early. But I know he's already got a hit against a sidearmer like Lynch on the mound this year. I don't know if he's faced more than one, but we'll see how it turns out.
1-0 count to Chris Fowler, who has singled and homered today and scored twice. Bounces this ball up the middle. Shortstop's there. Sleeper reaching for the tag. Didn't get there. Mantoni scores. Beacons are back in front. Boudrias is safe at second. And Chris Fowler's into first. Fielder's choice. But an RBI for Chris Fowler, so he doesn't pick up the hit. He does earn his third RBI of the day, 37 RBIs now in the season. Boudrias at second, Fowler at first.
That's all because Mantoni went first to third on Boudrias' single, got himself to third base with less than 2 outs, and all Fowler had to do was put the ball in play.
Now it's Nick Herzog dropping a bunt in front of the mound. Lynch fields, throws, just in time. Boudrias to third, Fowler to second as Herzog's retired. Good throw by Lynch to just get him. When you were fielding off the mound, now that you're used to dropping to that sidearm delivery, if you were in that mindset, would you throw the ball sidearm in a situation like that as well, or would you come over the top?
I would be throwing sidearm still. You just know the control. You know where it's going usually. You know, you never want to throw that ball up the line, throw it away from your first baseman, so you just go with what you know.
Brandon Eigenbrot, who had a good view from the Beacon dugout, head coach for this UMass Boston squad, in the midst of a discussion with the field umpire. He thought Herzog had made it safely down the line. Coach Eigenbrot in his 13th season at UMass Boston led the Beacons to the NCAA tournament last year, and he's been a big part in why this field was built, helped really lead the fundraising charge to get Monin Park built. Runners on second and third, 2 away, up to Luke Nagel, who sacrificed bunted in the second, smoked a one-hop rocket to second in the fourth that was gloved by John Militano. Nagel sprays it left field, slicing in the gap, catch running over, it's over his head, and all the way to the wall. Boudrias and Fowler both score as senior Luke Nagel comes through again. 2 RBI double for Nagel, now his 11th hit in his last 17 at-bats. Touch him right now, you'd get a third-degree burn.
That's why I questioned the first inning why they were having him sacrifice. He did get the job done. It did turn into a run, but you always like to see Luke Nagel swing the bat, especially when he's this hot.
Here's Anthony Searles, bounced into a fielder's choice in the second, walked in the fourth, and he watches a slider for ball one. Now, this is a heck of a response for the Beacons after giving up 4 runs, all unearned in the top of the fifth. Come right back and score 3 here in the bottom of the inning. Let's put Fernando Burgos back in line for the win. Lynch misses outside for a ball.
Not only do they score 3, they give Burgos time to sit down, relax, gain that energy back before jumping back on that mound and starting to work again.
2-0 to Searles. Line drive, bouncing to short. Sleeper's got it. And he puts the inning to bed with the throw across the diamond. That's it for the bottom of the fifth, but not before the Beacons score 3 runs to jump back on top. UMass Boston 7, Salve Regina 4 on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Pitches 5 innings, gives up 4 runs, all unearned. He allows 5 hits, he walks 2, and he strikes out 3. So that's the line for Burgos. Kaufman takes over. He's a guy who can pitch 3-4. He could finish this game out of the bullpen coming in the 6th. Numbers on Kaufman so far this season look like this. So for Kaufman this year out of the pen, he has pitched in 12 games, 1 start, 1-0 record, 1.15 ERA, 39 innings pitched in his 12 appearances, so averages more than 3 innings an outing. He's given up 39 hits, 5 earned runs, and walked 11. So Brian Kaufman on the mound. He'll face 6, 7, 8 in the order for Salve Regina. Fernando Burgos will be in line for the win if the Beacons can hold on here. With Steve Consiglio, Bill Spalding, glad to be with you on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Been a helter-skelter last few frames. Beacons led 4-0 heading into the top of the 5th, but Salve Regina scored 4 in the top of the 5th to tie the game. Beacons scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th to jump back on top, 7-4.
Yeah, I don't think Brian Kaufman's going more than 2 innings with the Beacons' upcoming schedule. They do have they're at Amherst tomorrow, and they have a doubleheader conference games against WestCon, which do take precedence, so they want Brian Kaufman ready for that doubleheader. He can go 2 and bounce back for that. Anything 3, 4, even 5 innings, he may not be available in the next 2 days.
Kaufman, a junior from Long Island. Remember, this is the regional #1 team, so it would be a great resume game, but I do agree with you. The conference record is the most important factor heading into the final 2 games of the season on Thursday as the pitch goes outside to Dylan Ketch.
Seems he crossed up Searles. Searles is not happy. He was expecting a slider. That fastball just ran out, and Searles just didn't even see it.
Ketch is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the second. He struck out looking in the 4th. There's a fastball wide of the plate. So 2-0, Kaufman coming out of the pen. He's only walked 11 in 39 innings so far this season. Kaufman misses down and in. It's quickly 3-0. Last thing you want to do after your team scores 3 to go on top is come out with a leadoff walk.
Cardinalson for a reliever, you just can't do it.
And he missed him on 4 pitches. So Dylan Ketch reaches on a leadoff walk. Only the top of the 6th here at Monin Park, so plenty of baseball left. Salve Regina yesterday came from 7-1 down to tie a game before losing to Suffolk 8-7 in extra innings. Today they've already come back from 4-0 down to tie, and now they're forced to come back again, trailing 7-4. Sam Brito is 0 for 2 today. He reached on an error that started the rally in the 5th and really derailed the Beacons' game plan. The way Burgos was pitching, looked like he could get you through 6 or 7. Ends up only going 5 after a long inning with 4 earned runs. Strike 1 from Kaufman, his first strike out of the bullpen. Kaufman deals. It's foul tipped off Searles. Counts 2-2. Rather 0-2 on Sam Brito. Runner on first base is Dylan Ketch. He's stolen 5 bases this season. As a team, Salve Regina has stolen 93 bases. Oh, 2. Just missed low. Kaufman sticking with the fastball there on that count. Now the count's 1-2.
Kaufman in need of a double play ball right here. Let's see what he goes to with a fastball or slider.
Breaking ball pounded foul right into the turf, so it stays 1-2. Seven for UMass Boston, top of the 6th against Salve Regina. 2 teams ranked in the top 4 in the New England region. Salve first, UMass Boston 4th. Ball and 2 strike count to Sam Brito. Kaufman, slider outside. Searles forces Ketch to get dirty, diving back into the base paths. Four runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Salve Regina. 7 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for UMass Boston. Another Kaufman slider goes wide, counts full. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ketch in motion here. And for Kaufman, certainly can't afford back-to-back walks to start this inning.
Salve Regina doesn't have a stolen base on the day yet. Haven't even attempted one. Interesting to see as we're already through 5 innings.
Did send the runner once earlier in the game, but pitch ended up being fouled away. So you're right, no official stolen base attempts yet. Going here on the 3-2, and that plunks the batter, Brito. So a walk and a hit by pitch, which would have been a walk if it had missed the batter because it was way inside on a 3-2 count. 2 on, nobody out. Just after the Beacons had gone up by 3, Salve Regina threatening again. Rare wild start for Brian Kaufman.
Beacon's bullpen's silent right now, trusting your true reliever right here, your go-to reliever in Brian Kaufman. He's got that 1.15 ERA. Coach Agerbrodt wants him to just bear down and get these outs. It's a bunting situation for Santilli. Expecting it, even though they're down 3 runs, they just want to flip the lineup.
Santilli didn't bluff the bunt there as Kaufman checks second. Santilli has grounded out, and he has walked so far today. 0 for 1. It's way outside, ball 1. Kaufman just seems a little bit off so far, missing the plate consistently. And here comes a meeting on the mound, and it looks like the bullpen might start cranking up as well. I'm seeing some bodies moving around out there in right field.
I personally don't like how far Nick Herzog is playing off the line. He's almost playing a right center field, and if with Santilli's speed, if he pokes one down the line, pulls one down the line, he could end up on third base, if not inside the park home run if he hits it hard enough.
We see that a lot here at this park, outfielders playing in right center. It's not just the Beacon, some of the away teams do it too. Do you think it's because with how short the line is in right and then the quick spike out, there's not as much space directly down the line, but there's a huge gap in right center, so you're just trying to cover some of that gap?
I honestly don't know. I mean, Brendan Igerbro, coach for the Beacons, has all the spray charts from the opposing teams. He gets those, he pays for those, and he's just reading the spray charts and seeing where.
Searles snapping to second, got him! Oh my! Dylan Ketch is picked off second, and Anthony Searles may have just changed the course of this inning and this game.
Absolutely. Searles' defensive prowess behind the plate just picked off a runner, partially bails out Kaufman. You still got to get 2 more outs, but we can look for a double play ball. Even though Santilli is so fast, if he hits it hard enough, you can double up anybody.
2-0 count to Brody Santilli, but now 1 out and only a runner on first. There's a strike on the outside corner. It seems like when you watch Searles over the course of a full season, he comes through with those pickoffs when he knows the pitchers need the help the most. He's a sniper looking for the kill shot in a big situation.
Absolutely. He can do it almost any time, especially when he sees runners being aggressive, as Ketch was being right there on the bunt, trying to get that extra 2 steps towards third base, where if it is put down, he's definitely going to be at safe at third. Searles sees that, and so does Hughie. Hughie covers the base. Searles throws a strike, puts the tag down, and the umpire punches him out.
3-1 to Santilli. 1 down, top 6. Brian Kaufman has walked a batter and hit a batter. Third batter he's faced, he's in danger of another walk. This is fouled back and the count's full. Here comes the payoff pitch. Runner going, pitch low. So 3 batters. Kaufman has 2 walks and a hits batsman. Only reason the bases aren't loaded is because of the Searles pickoff. Runners on first and second, 1 down. Hunter Sleeper bats in the 9 spot. You'd assume in the Beacons game plan, bringing Kaufman in, they're expecting 2 or 3 innings from him. But bullpen's having to work here because he has struggled to throw a strike.
This could be his only inning if he gets out of it. He may not even get through it. The Beacons do have someone warm in the bullpen, throwing pretty hard. I can't tell who it is yet. Could be a Chris Monroe.
Pitch down and in, ball 1 to Hunter Sleeper, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out today. Monroe pitched yesterday, but only went 2/3 of an inning, so should have plenty left in the tank to come back today. Nearly hit Sleeper. Boy, Brian Kaufman's just struggling to find the zone. And here comes Anthony Searles, going to try and eat up even a little bit more time. So he goes and finds Brian Kaufman.
Very important batter right here. Sleeper, the 9-hitter. You don't want to face Militano, especially with runners in scoring position.
Very uncharacteristic outing so far for Brian Kaufman, who entered today with a 1.15 ERA. There's a strike on the inside corner. 2-1. That's Santilli leading off first. Brito off second. Game flew through the first 4 innings in less than an hour. We have played an inning plus 1 out in the next 50 minutes. Ground ball back to the screen. In that time, 7 runs have been scored. And Salve Regina is threatening for more with 2 on, only 1 down. 2-2 count to Sleeper.
Seems like Searles is setting up on the inside corner of the plate. Kaufman may not be comfortable going in after already hitting a guy and missing in a lot. See what happens.
Searles back in there again. This pitch left over the heart of the plate, slicing down and dropping in front of Herzog. He bats the ball. Brito rounding the throw, cut off. Sam Brito scores. Hunter Sleeper drops in a single.
No RBI on the error by the right fielder Nick Herzog.
So a single for Sleeper, but the error afterwards on Herzog allows Brito to move from third to home. It's already a 3rd error on the Beacons. Runners on first and second, still only 1 out.
That run is not yet earned.
Though it still could be if Militano comes through with a hit here.
Or even a walk.
Yep. So runners on first and second, back to the top of the order for Salve Regina. This team showing a lot of guts the last couple games, falling behind big, getting back into it last night, and now coming back for a second time already today. Militano is 1 for 3. And Kaufman misses low. You mentioned maybe he was afraid of hitting another batter because when the target was set up inside to the 9-hole hitter Sleeper, that pitch tailed right back over the heart of the plate. Off-speed pitch is bounded foul. Now in the 40th inning of work for Brian Kaufman, this run allowed only the 6th he's allowed this season if it becomes an earned run, 12th run overall.
Beacon's paying a lot of attention to Santilli on second base, making sure he doesn't steal third, especially with less than 2 outs.
Here comes the 1-1. He's going from second. Fly ball, shallow right field. Long run for Herzog. He's got it. Throw into second. Yes, sir. It's a double play. Boy, that's a big break for UMass Boston as Santilli, who'd stolen 25 bases this year, tried to take third. Beacons bailed out by the double play, and that's it for the top of the 6th. Salve scores 1, but it could have been worse. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 7-5 Beacons.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Josh Monson is the new pitcher for Salve Regina, already the fourth arm for the Seahawks so far today. So Munson in. He takes the place of Jonathan Lynch, who went an inning, gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. Numbers so far for Munson this season. He's pitched in 7 games. No record, a 12.54 ERA. He's gone 9 innings, giving up 14 hits, 5 walks, and striking out 12. Now, Beacons had Salve Regina due up, but it looks like UMass Boston will go with a pinch hitter, Ryan McCormick. McCormick pinch hit yesterday and roped a 2-run hit down the line and left, part of the Beacons' extra inning win against Endicott College. Now, Josh Munson in the game, and again, his numbers, a 12.54 ERA in 7 games, an 0-0 record, a 12.54 ERA. 9 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 14 hits, 12 strikeouts. He's walked 5.
And we got a pinch hitter for the Beacons, Ryan McCormick.
McCormick pinch hit yesterday. Again, drove in 2 runs with that double down the line. Takes a first pitch strike. This season, Ryan McCormick, in a predominantly pinch hit role, especially lately, is hitting .283. Slider is low, count to 1-1 on McCormick. McCormick serves this left field, and it's down for a base hit in front of Dylan Ketch. Boy, that was a ball that looked very catchable for Ketch in left field.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for the slide, but I guess he didn't feel comfortable, didn't want to risk the runner getting to second, third if he missed it. I guess it's a smart play. I usually like to see a dive, especially already down 2 runs.
Now, the base hit for McCormick, and he'll be pinch run 4 as Brendan Igabrot points to his bench, and that's Danny Brown coming in. So Danny Brown, who would likely have been going in as a defensive replacement anyway, will enter as a pinch runner with Charlie Hughey batting.
And now batting for the Beacons, the shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
Charlie Hughey 0 for 2 today, a fly out and a line out. And Danny Brown now into the game running at first. Hughey first pitch swinging, nubs it foul. Josh Munson on the mound, junior from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, out of Bridgewater Raynham High School. UMass Boston leading 7-5, bottom 6 here in Beaconville. With 1 strike, Hughey showing bunt, takes a ball, they'll snap it back to first, safe. Took a while for Alex Perry to get the tag down, otherwise Danny Brown may have been done.
Great play by the catcher Vargas. He saw Brown was way off the base expecting that bunt to be put down. Threw behind him, and just the tag wasn't in time.
Hughey again showed bunt there before the pickoff throw. Trying to add an insurance run here in this bottom of the 6th. The Beacons leading 7-5. Salve Regina has scored 5 runs over the last 2 innings. Hughey takes the ball, and again the catcher Vargas pumps toward first. Doesn't pull the trigger this time. Runner going, swing and a miss. The throw bounces off the base runner Brown. He's into second and on his way to third. But now an out call being made. Batter
No,
interference. Or was that a strike call from the umpire?
It was a runner interference, or excuse me, a fielder's interference on the shortstop. Danny Brown tried to get up, get to third base, and
I saw the umpire come out with his fist up from behind home and thought he was tagging the interference call on the batter Hughie. Instead, it's a stolen base for Fruscino, or rather Danny Brown in Fruscino's spot, and then the interference allows Danny Brown to take third, which he would have gotten anyway with that ball bouncing off his leg.
I like that call a lot more than the bunt that Coach Egerbrodt had on. It was a hit and run. Hughie didn't make contact. Danny Brown had his base stolen easily. Just lucky he ended up on third after the ball hit him.
It's now 3-2. Hughie, ground ball to short. Runner has to hold. The throw from Sleeper is wide. Threw it away, and Brown scores. An E6 on Hunter Sleeper, his second error today. 8-5 Beacons. So after the Beacon defense let down its pitching staff, an error the other way puts UMass Boston back up by 3 and flips the lineup over for Josh Lopez, looking for his first hit in his last 9 at-bats. Lopez today has struck out twice and grounded out.
This is another bunting situation for the Beacons. Trying to get that runner to third with less than 2 outs, and allowing Mantoni the chance just to put the ball in play and get that run home.
Still nobody out in the inning as well. Charlie Hughie on second. Josh Lopez at the plate. Missed the bunt. Strike one. It was a tough pitch to bunt. It was elevated and up away. Salve Regina ranked 20th nationally, first in New England. UMass Boston, 4th in the New England regional rankings. Looking for a big resume win, leading 8-5 here in the bottom of the 6th. This is bunted well by Lopez, moves the runner to third. Successful sacrifice for Josh Lopez. Hughie 90 feet from home with just 1 away. So it gives Dan Mantoni a chance to get him home with Kyle Boudrias on deck. Mantoni has struck out twice. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 5th.
The designated hitter, number 7, Dan Mantoni.
Slider, that's a good pitch. Called the ball. Must have bent around the plate there for ball 1. 1-0, Mantoni fouls it back.
Mantoni must not be picking up the ball well. He seems a little bit late on everything. Lynch is not throwing, excuse me, who is this on the mound? Sorry.
This is...
Lynch was last inning.
Yep, Lynch was last inning. This is Josh Monson.
Monson's not
right-handed pitcher.
Overpowering hitters with his fastball. Mantoni's still late on it.
Monson's breaking ball gets Mantoni swinging over the top, and the count's 2-2. So 2-ball, 2-strike count to Dan Mantoni. If he can't get the runner Hughie home, it'll be up to Boudrias, and it will be up to Boudrias as Mantoni strikes out for a 3rd time today and a 6th time over the last 2 days. It'll be pretty important here for the Beacons to get Dan Mantoni rolling heading into conference tournament time because he's an important part of this team when he's going well. With 2 out, Kyle Boudrias, breaking ball. Good block by the catcher Vargas, who's shown good arm and solid ability behind the plate in this inning. Boudrias has singled twice, scored twice. His only out was a well-struck line drive, so he's continued to square up the baseball today. 1-0. Ground ball slowly hit foul, 1-1.
Boudrias hit that one right off his front foot. It doesn't feel good, especially when you don't have one of those pads on.
Kyle Boudrias, tough kid. He's sophomore from Arlington. Little East All-Conference as a freshman and hitting even better this season, 376 in his sophomore campaign. Serves it to left field, long run for catch, and he won't get there. RBI single for Kyle Boudrias, now digging for second, and he's in with an RBI double to score Charlie Hughey. Beacons go up by 4, 9-5. Largest lead of the game, along with 4-0. Third hit for Kyle Boudrias, and again, he just didn't try to do too much right there.
That's the kind of hitter Boudrias is. He doesn't never tries to do too much, loves using the opposite field, and he always gathers in those RBIs every year.
The first baseman, number 40.
So runner on second, for Chris Fowler, who's been on base 3 times today, reached on a fielder's choice with an RBI in the 5th, 2-run homer in the 3rd, and a single in the 2nd. Fastball way outside from Josh Monson.
As Fowler approaches the plate, that wind's blowing hard out to right field.
It shifted. It was blowing in from right and over toward left earlier in the day. Fowler's home run was hit to left field back in the 3rd over the top of the monster. Tied up with the inside fastball to run the count to 1-1. 9-5 UMass Boston. Last couple innings have been mash unit for the pitching staffs. 10 total runs scored. Salve Regina scored 4 in the top of the 5th, 1 in the top of the 6th. Beacon scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th, and now 2 already here in the bottom of the 6th. Drops just low. 2 balls and a strike to Fowler. Slider, strike. Good pitch on the outside corner. Count levels at 2-2 with 2 down here, bottom of the 6th. 2 runs already in and a runner on second. That sentence brought to you by the number 2. Fowler flares one left field, falling quickly, and that is down in front of the left fielder catch. That allows Boudrias to score. RBI single for Chris Fowler. His 3rd hit, his 4th RBI of the day. 10-5 Beacons, and that was very similar to the type of approach that Boudrias had in the previous at-bat.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Fowler's power alley is actually left center field. Usually you see a big lefty, you think he loves to pull the ball, but he always goes with those low fastballs, low off-speed pitches. He sends them right to left center. And he takes the single and takes the RBI, and the Beacons are up 5.
4 RBIs today for Fowler, 10-5 UMass Boston in the bottom of the 6th. And a 1-0 count now to Nick Herzog. Herzog pops this one up, foul territory near the Beacon dugout. And it does get over the dugout, out of play. Pitch from Monson, nearly hit Herzog, 2-1. Beacon scored 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. Means they're on pace for 4 in the 8th, and then they'd be on pace for 4 in the 9th as well. Herzog crushes this home run distance, but foul. Wow, that ended up deep into Dorchester there as that was blasted.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Herzog's got 2 home runs on the year. He does have enough power to get it over the monster. Doesn't usually show it off, but he's got that sneaky, quick hands. He can really get through, get the barrel on the ball, and send that far.
2 home runs, 26 RBIs for Herzog, who takes the breaking ball high, and the count's full. Head start coming for Fowler over at first. Payoff pitch is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. So Josh Munson ends the inning, but not before the Beacons tack on 3 more. And from 2 up, they stretch their lead to 5. 10-5 UMass Boston after 6.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
Brian Kaufman remains in the game for his 2nd inning of work. Allowed 1 unearned run in the 6th. He walked 2, hit a batter, and gave up a base hit, but he escaped the inning thanks in part to some good defense. Anthony Searles picked off a runner, and then John Militano's fly ball to right was tracked down by Nick Herzog, who doubled up the runner Brody Santilli, trying to scamper back to second. That limited Salve Regina to just 1 run. Beacon scored 3 in the bottom of the inning. All of a sudden, UMass Boston leads 10-5 with Steve Consiglio. I'm Bill Spalding. 2nd inning for Kaufman, who will face Colton Aremian, Zach Smith, and Alex Perry. Aremian blasted a home run over the monster back in the 5th, capping Fernando Burgess's day, allowing 4 unearned runs, all in the 5th inning. Aremian is 2 for 2, a walk, a single in that home run. Takes a called strike on the inside corner here. Beacons ranked 4th regionally, play out of Amherst tomorrow, and then they follow things up with a doubleheader to close out the conference season against Western Connecticut State. Oh, that stings. Aremian swinging, made contact with his hand.
It seems like the umpire is calling him out. I don't think that ball hit the bat, therefore he's out. Hit by pitch, it's still a strike.
Well, it should be just strike 2, right?
Oh,
yeah, it should only be strike 2.
Excuse me.
On a foul ball. But that's going to sting, and Aremian, an important part of this Salve Regina roster heading into a game coming up on Friday in the conference tournament, looks to be okay. So no ball, 2 strike count to Aremian. Salve Regina ranked number 1 in the region. They've lost 3 of 5. UMass Boston ranked number 4 in the region. Beacons have won 8 in a row. Oh, 2 from Kaufman. Swing and a miss. Great changeup. First strikeout for Kaufman, who seems to have settled in now that he got a little bit of defensive help and then some run support as well. Brings up Zach Smith, grounded into a double play in the 1st. Struck out swinging in the 3rd, reached on an error in the 5th, and scored. First pitch, call the ball. It's been a tight strike zone all day long.
Every once in a while, the ump will give a little extra on that outside corner.
Breaking ball lifted to right field. This should be easy for Herzog, and it is. 2 quick outs for Kaufman here in the top of the 7th. Trying to put a goose egg on the board after the Beacons rattled off 3 more runs to go up by 5 in the bottom of the 7th.
The first baseman, number 6, Alex Perry.
Here comes Alex Perry, who flew out, grounded out, and then singled to drive in a run back in the 5th. Fastball clips the inside corner for strike 1. Perry hitting at .295 on the season. 2 home runs, 20 RBIs. Ground ball slowly rolled to short. Hughie to his left, throws on the run and makes the play. Great inning for Brian Kaufman, who bounces back from a shaky 6th and gains steady ground in the 7th. Time to stretch at Moden Park, 10-5, UMass Boston.
What do we mean when we say UMass is here for a reason? We mean that the 5-campus UMass system is the only public research university that the people of Massachusetts established to create better futures for themselves, but also for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a whole. It's a university that educates 73,000 students every day and graduates 17,000 graduates every year. We are the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We're one of the state's 3 major academic research engines: research that saves and improves people's lives, and research that drives the innovation economy of Massachusetts. We provide services and economic opportunity to every region of the Commonwealth. The noted historian David McCullough once said that 2 great concepts, university and Massachusetts, come together in only one place, and we are very aware of how fortunate we are to bear the name, the University of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Brett Wilkes is the 5th pitcher of the day for Salve Regina. Wilkes, a sophomore from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, out of Indian Hills High School, takes over for Josh Munson, who pitched an inning, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 2. Wilkes has been one of the best relievers this season for Salve Regina. He has pitched in 10 games, has a 2-1 record, 1.38 ERA. He's pitched 13 innings, given up only 7 hits, walking only 3, and striking out 7. How about this one, Steve? Opponents are only hitting .143 against him this season.
I'm trying to figure out why. He's almost got a couple, pauses in his windup. He might not just have the stuff, but he might have the mind to go with it. Really pitching it, making pitching an art. So he's got that little pause at the top of his, or when he steps back, gets a little hip swing, and gets everything behind it.
He'll face 6, 7, 8 in the order for the Beacons, including Luke Nagel, who will lead things off. Nagel's 1 for 2 today. He's 11 for his last 17. His double in the 5th inning drove in 2 runs to put the Beacons on top 7-4 at the time. They now lead 10-5. Beacons have sent 7 to the plate in each of the last 2 innings, scoring 3 runs in both frames. Bottom 7 looking for more insurance, leading 10-5 on Salve Regina. There's a strike on the outside corner. This is the 2nd game of 5 in 4 days for the Beacons, which means maybe their bullpen is not quite as available as normal. Bobby Tramandozzi pitched 3 innings yesterday in the Beacons' extra inning win. Pitched down low for a ball. The Beacons would obviously love a little bit more insurance here to save Tramandozzi today. They'll play Amherst tomorrow, and then Western Connecticut State in a doubleheader on Thursday.
I do think Bobby is off the board today, seeing as I got not only a big game tomorrow, but 2 big games on Thursday. Again, I don't stress enough the importance of these conference games. They still have a small chance to take the conference.
It's inside for a ball. Yeah, UMass Boston will need to sweep Western Connecticut State, and at the same time need UMass Dartmouth to sweep Southern Maine, as Southern Maine's 11-1 in the conference heading into the final 2 games. UMass Boston 9-3. 3-1, Nagel hammers it, and he keeps on ripping. Base hit, and now he's rounding first, stumbling over the bag. He'll hold with a single. But it's his second hit of the day in 3 tries. He's now 12 for his last 18, 667.
Slipping over that base might have done Nagel a favor. Very strong throw by the right fielder, Smith. He might have been hosed at second base.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So Nagel's a leadoff base runner. Do you bunt with Anthony Searles here, playing for one more run?
Up 5, hit.
Searles has reached on a fielder's choice, walked and grounded out. He's 0 for 2, and he takes ball 1. One-0 delivery, curveball. Rule the ball.
Don't know where that missed.
His home plate umpire, I've noticed, does not like those breaking balls for a strike. There have been a lot of pitches we've seen, generally called strikes, called balls here. 2-0. Down low. It's as if kind of gives up on those breaking balls a little bit early. 3-0 to Searles. Danny Brown waiting to hit behind him. It'll be Brown's first at bat of the day. There's ball 4. 4-pitch walk. Nagel to second. Searles to first with his second walk today and his 30th walk this season. Quick visit on the mound as Brett Wilkes has not retired a batter yet out of the pen. First at bat today for Danny Brown. This season, Brown has played in 31 games, 12 for his first 60, a 200 batting average, no home runs, and 9 RBIs. Brown showing punt. Looking to extend this Beacon lead, and he takes ball 1. Well, Beacons are up 5, but we have seen Salve Regina put some crooked numbers up. Scored 4 in the 5th inning. Yesterday they came back from 6 runs down, so Beacon's thinking about adding a little bit more insurance here in the bottom of the 7th. That's a strike on the outside corner. Count to 1-1 on Brown.
I don't necessarily like this bunt call right here. You're up 5 runs. Yeah, 2 are important, but when you bunt, you give away an out, especially with a pitcher on the mound that's struggling to throw strikes. Take advantage of it. See if you can put a 2, 3, 4, 5 runs on the board and really end this ball game.
No sign of a bunt there. The pitch was outside, so maybe Brown was just showing bunt until he saw a strike to try and make life even more difficult for Wilkes, who's allowed a single and a walk out of the pen. Two 2-1, almost hit the batter Brown with Charlie Hughey waiting on deck. Count is now 3-0. Beg your pardon, it's 3-1. The pitch to Brown. Ball 4, second walk in a row for Wilkes. Bases loaded, nobody out. Beacons have an opportunity to break this game wide open now. Charlie Hughie's the batter after Nagel singled, Searles walked, and Brown walked. Hughie's 0 for 3, reached on an error and scored in the 6th, lined out in the 4th, and flew out in the 2nd. Corners in, middle infield playing for a double play ball. They'll surrender a run on a ground ball up the middle. High, tight fastball, ball 1. UMass Boston has won 8 consecutive games, now including tonight. In their last 9 games, they have scored 71 runs.
They're in a good place to score more right now.
After back-to-back balls, the call is to the bullpen. 2 walks in a row and a 2-0 count to Hughie. New pitcher coming in for Salve Regina. Brett Wilkes does not record an out. So tough night for Wilkes. 6th pitcher of the game coming for Salve Regina as the Beacons look to put this game away in the bottom of the 7th. You're watching on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Well, in a jam, wouldn't you love to call on Tom Seaver? And that's just what Salve Regina does. Tommy Seaver, the right-handed pitcher out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, is into the game. Seaver this season has pitched in 5 games for Salve Regina. 1-1 record, 4.91 ERA, 7 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 6 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 8. Takes over for Brett Wilkes, and it was a very uncharacteristic day for Wilkes. Wilkes has been a very reliable reliever for Salve Regina, 1.38 ERA in 10 outings, but today he does not record an out. He gives up a hit and 2 walks. He's responsible for all 3 runners on base here in the bottom of the 7th, with UMass Boston already had 10-5.
Now's about the time Tom Seaver rub a little dirt on his right knee just to show how effective he is. He had one of the longest strides in the game back when he pitched for the Mets.
Boy, could he bring it, too.
Yeah, Tommy right now would wish he threw 100 like the real Tom Seaver. And we'll see if he can get out of this jam.
Nagel on 3rd, Searles on 2nd, Brown on 1st. Nagel singled, Searles walked, and Brown walked. 2-0 count for Tommy Seaver as well, as Charlie Hughie watched the first 2 pitches for balls before the move to the pen. Tough situation for Seaver to enter, bases loaded, and on top of the bases being loaded with that 2-0 count, he has really no margin at all for error here. And he has not thrown very many strikes here during his warm-up pitches.
Hasn't shown that he's a controlled pitcher. A little bit all over the place. Spiked the curveball. His first fastball went to the backstop of warm-ups. We'll see how he does right here.
Wind was not all that extreme early in the day. It is now howling out toward right field. The flags are starched out in right field. So anything up in the air could play some tricks on the fielders. 2-0 count to Charlie Hughie with the bases loaded. First pitch from Seaver is ball 3. Was not even close.
Wouldn't be surprised if Hughie's taking right here and the next 2 pitches.
Is ball 4, an RBI walk for Charlie Hughie, his 20th RBI of the season. Nagel scores, Searles to 3rd, Frashino to 2nd. 3 consecutive walks issued by Salve Regina pitchers.
The second baseman, number 14, Josh.
Batter is Josh Lopez. Beacons lead 11-5. Lopez 0 for 3 with his sacrifice today, and he takes a ball. So that is 9 straight balls by Salve Regina pitchers, 3 in a row out of the pen for Tommy Seaver. There's ball 2. Unlike the Little East Conference games, there is no 10-run mercy rule tonight, so even if the Beacons were to score 4 more runs here in this 7th, we would continue on.
The only baseball we can skip is the bottom of the 9th if the Beacons still have the lead.
2-0 is way inside for a ball. It's 3-0, and this has gone from bad to worse. The Seaver's thrown 5 pitches, all balls. (3-0). Call the strike on the inside corner. The first strike for Seaver. Now here comes the 3-1. Inside, ball 4. A 4th consecutive walk. Searles scores. Give Josh Lopez his 14th RBI of the year. 12-5 Beacons. Haven't had to do a whole lot in this inning outside of the Luke Nagel single. 4 walks in a row that put the Beacons ahead by 7. Dan Mantoni takes a called first strike from Tommy Seaver. Mantoni has struck out 3 times today and been hit by a pitch. There's a ball, 1-1. Be a heck of a time for Mantoni to break out of this mini slump with 6 strikeouts over the last 2 games.
He's got to be a little bit more patient and just see the ball hit the ball. Not try and do too much. Send it to right field. Take your hit. Can't be thinking about that monster on left right now.
Take your hit or take your walk the way this is going. A 2-1 count to Mantoni. 4 walks in a row issued by pitchers from Salve Regina. The first 2 by Wilkes, the next 2 by Seaver. Mantoni serves it right field at third. Brown tagging. That ball gets over the top of Zach Smith as it got up into the wind. Brown scores. Here comes Hughie. Mantoni's into second. It's a 2 RBI double for Dan Mantoni, and it's 14-5 Beacons. Oh, that ball carried so far in just a dramatic wind. If we can get a camera shot of the flags out in right center field at some point, you'll see just how hard it is gusting. You can look when we get back to that wide shot into the top right of your picture.
The third baseman, number 15,
And you'll see
Kyle
just
Boudrias.
how starched those flags are. So the wind took that ball so far from Smith to put the Beacons ahead by 9. First pitch to Kyle Boudrias is ball 1. And if you're Dan Mantoni, you'll take any help you can get after the tough couple of games.
Absolutely. It almost looked like Smith was underneath it at first. Kind of just kept drifting and drifting and drifting as the ball just kept going with that wind, and it fell over his head, and that turned into an RBI double for Mantoni.
Yeah, I thought off the bat for sure that would be something playable out there in right. (2-0) to Boudrias. That's ball 3. First base is open. Chris Fowler waits on deck.
Not a guy you want to load the bases for if you're Salve Regina.
Boy, when folks around the country look at this scoreline, if it holds up, this will be a message sender for the Beacons against the #1 team in the region. They're ahead 14-5. There's strike 1 from Seaver. You can close the book on Wilkes. Not a great day for the ERA. In no innings, he gives up a hit, 2 walks, and 3 earned runs. Boudrias hammers this one into right field for a base hit. That scores Lopez. Mantoni rounds third, and he's in. It is 16-5. A 6-run inning for the Beacons. Kyle Boudrias is 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs.
Just seeing the ball well. Even his one out on the day, he had a line drive to the second baseman that was barely caught. And now he sits standing on first base. He's got 3 singles and a double. And as you said, 3 RBIs.
There are 6 runs in and still nobody out in this bottom of the 7th. Chris Fowler, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs today, takes strike 1.
After seeing Mantoni hitting that ball to right field, I'm sure Fowler would love to get into one towards that pesky pole, maybe even straight dead right. It might end up over the fence.
He's already homered once today over the wall and left. Chased one up the ladder there, and he's down in the count 0-2. The wind is just absurd right now. You've got at least 25 to 30 mile-an-hour winds right now, the way it's blowing out there. Oh, 2. That's down low for a ball. Anything in the air, as we saw with that ball Mantoni hit, is going to be an absolute nightmare for the position players. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Fowler is down. Now, right now, the wind, it feels like we're watching the perfect storm, and it has been a perfect storm this inning for the Beacons with 6 runs already home. Nick Herzog will bat. He's 1 for 3 today. A single, a ground out, a sac bunt, and a strikeout. He is the 9th batter to hit for the Beacons this inning. There's ball 1. Tommy Seaver, the 6th pitcher to pitch for Salve Regina this game. 2nd this inning. He's already been charged for 3 runs in the frame. Herzog takes ball 2 in a 16-5 game.
To think we were moving through this game in the 4th inning. Really slowed down as Salve put up that 4 spot. Beacons responded with the 3. 2 3-run innings. And now putting up a 6 spot.
Another ball to Herzog. It was 8:15 when we started the 5th inning. We played the first 4 innings in less than an hour. So we've played the last 3 in an hour and a half, and in that span, 16 runs have been scored. 5 errors have been committed. A number of walks and 11 combined hits. Strike on the outside corner to Herzog, counts full. If you're a fan of 1-0 pitchers duels, this has not been your game. Payoff pitch, line drive right to short. It 1 hops. Here's a flip to second for 1. Bobbled on the exchange. So it's a fielder's choice for Herzog. Boudrias out at second. And it was when Militano was looking to throw back to first that he lost the ball in the transfer. Second time this inning that Luke Nagel will hit. He singled to start the 6-run inning and scored as well. Nagel 2 for 3 today. He's driven in 2 runs and scored a run. He is 12 for his last 18. Ground ball up the middle. There's the shortstop sleeper, and his throw is in time to get Nagel from the other side of second base. It's a good play by Hunter Sleeper, and it mercifully ends the inning for Salve Regina as the Beacons score 6 more runs. They benefit from 4 walks, and they pound out 3 hits. We head to the 8th. UMass Boston up 11 on the #1 team in the region, Salve Regina, on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
My name is Allie Greenberg. I'm an ice hockey player here. I'm a junior, majoring in human services. and I'm part of the Key for Hope Foundation. We recycle the keys and stock food pantries with the money. I wanted to bring this foundation to the athletic department, and I believe we can end hunger starting at UMass Boston. I got started with the Key for Hope Foundation due to my father. He's the one who founded this program.
I said, what can I do with a classroom environment giving back? And everybody's got an old key, and keys are made of brass, and brass is a recyclable commodity. And thinking about how many children are in a school system and how far we can go with taking this to do something right for humanity, I started a foundation called Key for Hope, feeding others with the collecting of keys. In 2.5 years, we collected over 500,000 keys. And I'm excited about this whole opportunity because you know what? One key may not seem like much to most people, but when you collect the masses of keys that we've collected, it shows that there is an ability for people to get together and create what I'm considering our hunger fighting opportunity.
Brian Kaufman back to work for his third inning out of the bullpen. He's allowed one unearned run, walking 2 and giving up 1 hit. He did pitch a 1-2-3 7th. Back out in the 8th, he's thrown 33 pitches so far, so trying to get the Beacons to the 9th. They have a supersized cushion now, leading 16-5 after a 6-run bottom of the 7th. 5-6-7 for Salve Regina, barring a ridiculous comeback. The Seahawks will head into the CCC playoffs, where they're the heavy favorite, losers in 4 of their last 6. So the opposite of the Beacons, who are peaking heading to the playoffs. Salve Regina is skidding. Vargas 0 for 2 today. Flew out to center, lined out to short on a diving play by Charlie Hughey. Then he had a sacrifice fly back in the 5th to center field for an RBI. Vargas grabs this one to third. That's Boudrias. And there's one down. Vargas was in no rush down the first baseline, 1 away. Dylan Ketch due up. Looks like a pinch hitter here for Salve Regina. Zach Barlock, a freshman from Cheshire, Connecticut, will hit for Dylan Ketch. So Barlock into the game. He is 4 for 21 in his freshman season. Nubs this one off the top of the bat. First baseman Fowler, underhanded flip to Kaufman. There's 2 down. Well, Brian Kaufman struggled in his first inning of work, but he has come back and thrown 8 pitches to get the last 5 outs, including 2 pitches to get the first 2 outs of this inning.
Yeah, he's being very efficient, really changing his ways from that first inning. He struggled throwing strikes. I don't know if he's thrown a ball in the past 8 pitches. I don't think so.
Pitching like a guy who maybe has some homework to do or something here in the last couple of weeks at classes with the Beacons. Still busy the next 2 days. A game tomorrow and 2 games on Thursday. It's called strike on the inside corner. This time of year, how hard was it to balance your course load winding down with the busiest part of the season?
Well, usually you like to schedule your harder classes in the fall if you can. But with 4 classes and games every day, it's not easy to do. A lot of times you're taking homework with you on the bus, just trying to get it done whenever you can. A lot of homework in the locker room I've seen in the past, and just guys working their tails off to make ends meet.
There is action in the bullpen for Salve Regina. Just got to look at the big right-hander. That's Dylan Jepson, Jr. from Sutton, Massachusetts.
And the Beacons have Alex Carasoto warming up. Could be throwing the 9th inning for the Beacons.
1-2 coming to Sam Brito, and it hit him. Second time that Kaufman's hit a batter today. That ends his streak of 6 in a row, retired. We'll bring up Brody Santilli, who has walked twice and grounded out. Santilli ground ball to second. Lopez backhanded flip to short, and that's it for the inning. Very quick work again for Brian Kaufman. Single-digit pitches thrown in the 8th. Beacons lead 16-5 heading to the bottom of the 8th here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. A couple of changes for Salve Regina. Staying in the game and moving to left field is Zach Barlock after he came in to pinch hit. Anthony Gazzo is the new catcher. So Anthony Gazzo goes behind the plate, taking the spot of Christian Vargas here in a 16-5 game, bottom of inning 8. The new pitcher is a birthday boy, Dylan Jepson. The fans for Salve Regina yelling happy birthday as he headed out to the mound. Dylan Jepson, a junior from Sutton, Massachusetts, pitching in his 7th game of the season, 0-0, 1.69 ERA. He's pitched 5 1/3 innings, giving up just 1 hit. He hasn't walked anybody, and he has struck out 4. Jepson will be the 7th pitcher of the night for Salve Regina. Tommy Seaver was tagged for 3 runs in an inning of work. He and Brett Wilkes combined to give up 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th, which opened the game up for the Beacons. UMass Boston leads 16-5 against nationally ranked Salve Regina. This will be a 9th consecutive win for the Beacons, barring one of the most dramatic comebacks in Division III baseball history. Anthony Searles, the batter, and it looks like Lionel Danielson is waiting on deck. Danielson would replace Danny Brown. First pitch to Searles, low for a ball. Searles 0 for 2, but he has walked twice more today to up his season total to 30 walks in the Beacons' 34 games. Now, really just the one bad inning for the Beacons where the 2 errors allowed 4 unearned runs to score. Otherwise, they've put up 6 goose eggs over the course of 8 innings. And they've scored 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and 6 in the 7th. Searles swings over the top of a fastball. It's 2-2. Lionel Danielson warming up in the on-deck circle. Will be his first at-bat of the day. Swing and a miss, and Searles down on strikes. So Dylan Jepson comes in, strikes out the first batter he faces. And here's the pinch hitter, Lionel Danielson. Danielson, junior from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. 2nd year with the Beacons after transferring from Fisher College. Danielson's plugged, first pitch. So Lionel Danielson reaches, speedy base runner on with the Beacons ahead 16-5. You'd assume Danielson will probably stay in the game and play defense as well.
Yeah, I do. He'll probably end up in center field unless they move Herzog over to center, and Lionel will slot in right field.
The shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
Here's Charlie Hughey. Walked and drove in a run in the 7th. He's also reached on an error, lined out, and flown out. He scored 2 runs today. Eddie Riley waiting on deck to hit in Josh Lopez's spot. There's a ball, 2-0. Gives Brendan Eigenbroth the opportunity to go deep into the bench here and get guys at bats with the Beacons ahead 11 runs. It's now 3-0 to Charlie Hughey. There's strike 1 from Jepson, who hasn't walked a batter through his 4 2/3 innings of pitching so far this season. Ground ball hit to 3rd, knocked down, throw across the diamond, can't be picked out. Danielson taking off for 3rd, and he is in. It's an E5 on Colton Aremian. Low throw. Runners on the corners, just 1 away. So Eddie Riley will bat for the first time today. This season, Riley is 10 for 46. That's a .217 average with 9 RBIs. There's a strike on the outside corner. This hit hard by Riley to left and down for a base hit. Lionel Danielson scores. It's 17-5. RBI single for Eddie Riley, sharply hit off the bench.
Not a good read by Lionel at third base. Still was able to score because that fell. But in a closer game, you like to see him try and tag right away just in case the left fielder makes that catch.
Brings up Dan Mantoni, who doubled home a run in that 6-run seventh. And there's ball one. Zach Barlock out there in left field right now. He made a defensive substitution behind the plate. It's Anthony Gazzo, the other defensive change this inning for Salve Regina. Oh, that's over the head of Dan Mantoni. The wild pitch moves runners to second and third.
Completely unintentional. That was a curveball. It just came funky out of pitcher's hand.
17-5 Beacons. They may want to save some runs for the next couple days. At Amherst tomorrow. Doubleheader against WestCon on Thursday. Mantoni fouls this one back. 17 runs on 14 hits. 3 errors from Salve Regina. A couple of hits batsmen. And 7 walks from the pitching staff. That almost hit Mantoni again up and in. It's 2-2. Mantoni fouls this one away. Now this game was 4-4 in the top of the 5th. Now in the bottom of the 8th, the Beacons have scored 13 of the last 14. Fly ball, pretty shallow right field. Second baseman Militano out. The right fielder comes in, and Zach Smith puts it away. Up 12, Beacon's not going to take any type of risk or try to push the pace. Mantoni likely end the day 1 for 5. 6th at bat for Kyle Boudrias coming now. He is 4 for 5 already today. 3 singles and a double for Boudrias. He has scored 3 runs. He has driven in 2.
Number 15, Kyle Boudrias.
Boudrias takes a first pitch strike. Looking ahead to the 9th, it'll be 9-1-2 in the order for Salve Regina. And the Beacons had Alex Carasoto warming up in the bullpen. Pitch low, 0-2. Carasoto has pitched in 4 games this year, 5 innings. He's only given up 2 hits, and he's yet to allow an earned run. 0-2. Boudrias fights it off. Kyle Boudrias, a guy who just really, he's so tough to strike out. You look at his numbers this season, he's only struck out 7 times in now 121 at-bats.
Not your typical 3-hitter because he doesn't have like the power to get the ball out of the ballpark, but he just sprays the ball in the gaps. So many doubles, so many clutch at-bats, and so many RBIs is why he's slotted in 3-hole.
It's for a great average. Be up near 400 by the end of the night tonight. Watches the 1-2 for a called strike 3. Great breaking ball from Dylan Jepson, and that ends the inning. So Jepson picks up his 2nd strikeout of the inning. The Beacons add 1 more. We go to the 9th. Salve Regina will need 12 to tie and 13 to take the lead on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Alex Carasoto is the new pitcher for UMass Boston, taking over for the 5th time this season. Carasoto, a junior from Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and Taconic High School. 5'11", 210 pounds. This season, Carasoto, in limited time, has yet to give up an earned run. 2-0 record in 4 games. 0.00 ERA. He's pitched 5 innings, given up 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 2. Opponents hitting just 118 against him. Defensively for the Beacons, Eddie Riley has come into second base, and Joey Rogers has moved into center field. So Carasoto, the new pitcher. Brian Kaufman pitched 3 innings out of the bullpen, gave up 1 hit, 1 unearned run, walked 2, hit 2 batters, and struck out 1. Both walks and 1 of the hits batsmen, plus the hit, came in that first inning. Really bounced back the next 2, allowing just 1 base runner and no hits in the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah, you saw in the second 2 innings from Kaufman why he's their #1 reliever and why he's got such a low ERA, 1.15 before tonight. That'll only go down tonight, and see if he can bounce back for the doubleheader against Westcon on Thursday.
9-1-2 in the order due up for Salve Regina, the #1 team in the New England region, but barring 12 runs this inning, on their way to a 4th loss in their last 6. Hunter Sleeper is 1 for 3 today. He is struck out, grounded out, and singled. Carasoto starts with a strike on the outside corner. That misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike count to Hunter Sleeper. Beacons will play at Amherst at 4 o'clock tomorrow out in western Massachusetts. Back here for a 4 p.m. start for Game 1 of the doubleheader on Thursday. We'll have it for you on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
And there's that parachute slider that Alex Carasoto is known for that comes in at like 55 to 60 miles an hour. Completely throws the batter off.
1-2. Goes for it again and gets a called strike 3. Alex Carasoto maybe put Hunter Sleeper to sleep with that curveball. There's 1 down. Back to the top of the order, and John Militano. Militano is 1 for 4 today. A single in the 3rd, grounded out in the 1st and the 5th, and flew out in the 6th. That Militano thinks hit his foot, and yes, the home plate umpire points down to first base. So Militano reaches on the hit by pitch. And the new batter is Colton Naremian. In fact, it looks like there will be a pinch hitter taking the place of Colton Naremian. Riley Fusaro, a sophomore from Nantucket, Massachusetts. This season, Riley Fusaro has played in 24 games. He's hitting .356, 21 for 59 with 6 RBIs. Runner going, defensive indifference. There's strike 1. Nobody holding Militano on, so he just runs himself out of a possible double play. Oh, 1 from Carasoto. Served, shallow right field, long run for everybody. That's going to drop. Drops in front of right field. Runner Militano had to hold, so he only makes it to third base. Single for the pinch hitter. So Riley Fusaro makes it aboard.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Zach Smith, number 32, Nick Mulcahy.
Nick Mulcahy takes over for Zach Smith in the 3-hole. This season, Mulcahy is 3 for 14. Ball served to pretty deep center field. Joey Rogers just in, goes back, puts it away. Tagging from third, Militano scores. So it's a sacrifice fly for Smith, and there goes the 0.0 ERA for Carasoto, the first earned run he's allowed all year. Still, Beacons lead by 11 with 2 down.
The first baseman, number 6, Alex Perry.
Tough break for Carasoto because the single for Fasaro, just a little floating flare, and Militano had gotten to second based off defensive indifference. So it's not like Carasoto's been hit hard this inning. Alex Perry hits this ball pretty deep to center field. Rogers trying to run it down in the wind. It's caught by the right fielder, Herzog, to end the ball game. Well, that tells you where Herzog was playing at the start of that at bat. He caught that in almost dead center field. Beacons knock off the #1 team in the New England region, Salve Regina, and do it by a lopsided 17-6 score. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Back at Monin Park, where the final score is 17-6. UMass Boston beats region #1 Salve Regina. Let's look at the highlights from this lopsided Beacon win. Oh-2. Slider grounded right back to Burgos. Should be 2 to short for 1. Hughie to first. It's a double play. 1-6-3, and that does it for the top of.
Perfectly hard hit ball. They can still cut him down at home plate.
0-2, grounded right to short. Fowler's coming. The shortstop sleeper throws home, and the ball skips away from the catcher Vargas. Fowler's safe. The hat Fowler with
he was
the
dead
play
to right.
made.
But that throw is just up the line too far.
Frashino bunts this one. Suicide squeeze. He scores the run, and he's safe at first. It's a bunt single. South.
Down the fastball. Just fouling it off, staying alive.
Another 1-2. Fastball called, strike 3. First slightly in from right toward left. Fowler serves this ball high in the air to left field. Catch back, turning, looking, and it's gone. Fowler clears the monster. Beacons lead 4-0.
Just a great piece of hitting there for Fowler. Got a fastball up in the zone, up and away, and just completely went with it. Didn't break his wrist, just sent.
1-1. Line drive. Hughie dives and snags it out of midair. Oh, what a play by Charlie Hughie. With this inning here from Salve Regina. This is hammered to left field. Nagel back, he looks up, and that is gone. A blast from Colton Aremian. It's a 1-run game. His second home run of the season. Those runs. Ground ball through the whole left side. Smith rounds third. The throw from Nagel cut. The relay. Safe. Burgos is 2-2. Loop center field. Falling quickly. Frashino dives. And makes the catch. Saller was singled and homered today and scored twice. Bounces this ball up the middle. Shortstop's there. Sleeper reaching for the tag. Didn't get there. Nagel sprays it left field, slicing in the gap. Catch running over. It's over his head and all the way to the wall. Boudrias and Fowler both score. This hit hard by Riley to left and down for a base hit. Lionel Danielson scores. It's 17-5. RBI single for Eddie Riley, sharply hit off the bench.
Not a good read by Lionel at third base. Still was able to score because that fell.
So those are your highlights from the Beacons win. Still busy. They'll play tomorrow at Amherst back here for 2 more against Western Connecticut State to round out the regular season. But now 9 consecutive wins. Steve, they're really rolling at this point.
Yeah, the Beacons are hot. You saw last year they went on a run, too, around this time. Always a good time, especially when you're going into the tournament. You got to stay hot the next 3 games, and you got to bring that into the tournament next week.
Looking ahead for UMass Boston, coming up next, they'll play at Amherst tomorrow at 4 p.m., and then they'll wind things down on Thursday, 4 p.m., doubleheader against Western Connecticut State. Little East Conference Tournament begins next Wednesday. We'll either be up in Gorham, Maine, or here at the campus of UMass Boston. A few thank yous to pass out to our production crew for the outstanding work today and yesterday as well. The entire crew with producer Seth Orensky, Rachel Maslach, and Alyssa Fugel, directing Instant Replay, Maddie Byrne, our camera operators Julia Murphy, Emily Steinberg, and Alex Gibbs. My color commentator Steve Consiglio. This is Bill Spalding saying so long. Your final score, UMass Boston 17, Salve Regina 6. You watched it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network.